Hey, it's the Bennington Show. 844 Rock God. 844 Rock God. Barack Obama is killing rock stars one after the other. This time he got Glenn Frey. So stay low or head to the high country. That's what I'm recommended. Anybody who's had more than just a couple of hits. Barack Obama hunting down rock stars and getting away with it. So, Gail, where are you putting the Glenn Frey one? Another shocker.
It's another shocker.
Yeah.
And he didn't even make the 69 club.
No, he was 67 club. Weirdly, he had done a reboot of Old 55, which would have been perfect for it. Chris Stanley?
Where I put him? On the bottom.
Where you put him?
On the bottom. I never liked the Eagles. I feel nothing for Glenn Frey's death.
Chris!
Nothing.
First of all, let me say this before the show.
Yeah.
So I said, Chris goes, what do you want to go with? I go, well, something Glenn Frey sang lead on. And I go, what about all, because he was going to go immediately to Take It Easy, like everyone else. I'm like, I gave him a couple other options. He said he never heard this song Already Gone. And I go, I know that you have. And then I saw once the song started, you did.
Yeah, I never knew it was called Already Gone, but I never really paid attention to the
What
band.
about Already Gone?
It's the chorus.
Yeah, I never pay attention much.
What is your anti-Eagles thing? Because I know a lot of people have it.
I just thought it was just middle of the road garbage, and then also there's this one time.
First of all, you're not old enough to get that premise. That premise, maybe your dad could have said, but they were not. The middle of the road is what you guys consider today to be, music.
Yeah. I just never liked their Eagles sound. And one time it was New Year's Day, and I was at a diner for brunch, and I had eaten a bunch of acid previously. So I was still, still feeling it. Mm-hmm. And then I'm in the diner, and every song that came on, I thought was Hotel California.
First of all, then I want that acid, because I would love nothing more than hear Hotel California wherever I go, which, by the way, is close to happening now. You know what I mean? Like,
it doesn't sound that bad. It's almost like a comfy purgatory. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You
like,
mean
it's not so.
No,
I mean, like, hearing Hotel California over and over on acid, it's like, it's not disturbing, but I can't get out of it.
Trying to have an omelet.
First of all, if you're somewhere and it's noisy and someone is saying, what's that song that's playing? You'd be a pretty safe bet just to say Hotel California.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Hotel California.
Wait, is this Hotel California?
Mine is definitely twisted. But see, this whole anti-Eagles thing, don't be the type of person to say it right after Glenn Frey dies.
Here's the thing. You're allowed to have your opinion. You're allowed to dislike the Eagles.
But he has somebody else's opinion. What he's saying is his opinion.
Yes, it is.
Is not his.
But how would you feel if somebody had that same reaction to our beloved David Bowie, who passed last week, and we were destroyed?
Some people did.
And they said, I never liked David Bowie, so I don't even care that he's dead. Like,
those people are assholes.
That's stupid.
He's a human life.
By the way, wherever I went over the weekend, I was still hearing Bowie. Everywhere.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is a little too much now.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, I watched The Martian over the weekend, which you said, and you told me about a certain moment.
The Starman moment.
Yeah, it was a little much. I mean,
that's your favorite, too.
Yeah, it's my favorite.
All right, let me tell you something. Who's your favorite band of all time?
Of all time, the Pixies.
I'm going to guarantee you something. I bet you know more Eagles songs than Pixies songs. That's how much the Eagles have played on the radio. Like, it's not even up to you whether you know Eagles songs. It's probably the most played American band of all time. Is Roland going into a game today? Because
he's ready. Put him in, coach.
He's wearing sweatpants and the jersey.
They're breakaway.
Yeah. I mean, at a certain point, you got to say no. Pajamas are comfy, and you're a half an inch away from pajamas when you're wearing a matching outfit like that. Like, here's what I'm saying about the Eagles. It's not up to you whether you like the Eagles. The Eagles are the most played American band, I'm sure. And that was the weird thing when they broke up, and they were broke up for a lot of years, right? They were still the most played American band. So when they got back together, it was straight stadiums for them.
Yeah, it was huge. They're beloved.
they're beloved. And have you ever watched the documentary? Because I highly recommend this documentary. Is so asshole-ish and so prickish that you say to yourself, well, first you're alarmed and you can't believe that people allow themselves to be shown this way. But then you're like, this may be the only honest documentary I've ever seen in my life.
Well, you describe it to me, and it sounds like they were just downright bro-y. Like dude bro-y almost.
This is the thing about the Eagles. One of the reasons, and of course Chris wasn't fucking alive then, is that they were seen as dudes that were very ambitious and very calculating and taking Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young sound for themselves. And this whole California peace and love thing, because they weren't from California.
Oh, they weren't?
No, man. Henley is from Texas and Glenn Frey is from Michigan. Glenn Frey showed up on our Detroit thing singing backup. And, and Chris is like, we're going to take that out. And I'm like, no.
I really want
they're
that.
a fucking very important thing. So they were accused of, setting out to be this thing rather than organically being this thing, right? And then when the 70s were over, Glenn Frey, he fucking cut his hair short. He did a workout commercial. And the commercial was like, you think you can keep up with my workout, dude? I doubt it. It was CrossFit. It was definitely something like somebody that would have played on the Raiders would have done, right? And then he put out a song that says the Greeks don't want no freaks. So everybody went, aha, we knew you were a fucking dude, bro. You're a fucking dick. So that's where the critical thing came from. But Russell Hammond is based on him. Cameron Crowe was in love with Glenn Frey.
Yeah.
In love. But, from a bromance point of view. The Eagles are one of those bands, whether you like it or not, are very much a part of the American fabric. And the fact is, you like them more than you're saying.
I hate that part of the American fabric. I wish you could fucking pull it out.
But any one of their songs, whether
singable,
they're singable. If they came on the radio, I bet you would not turn it off. I bet you would be like, oh, I don't love this, but you'd be humming along to it.
No humming.
Out of tune as
no
usual.
Humming for me, especially with the Eagles. Never felt anything from their music.
Tim, what's up?
Yeah, there was an incident where the Eagles denounced the New York Dolls on stage in New York.
Well, here's the thing, Tim. If the New York Dolls do it to the Eagles, everybody thinks it's great. The Eagles are one of those fucking bands that no matter what they said or did, everybody went, what dicks? What rich fucking cocks? Yeah. But Don Henley is one of the greatest fucking singers of all time. You can't get around that. You cannot get around that. That's one of the great American voices that ever happened. Period. Yeah, sometimes there was 8 on a song when they were songwriting. Came across a little corporate. Did they pick up, Jackson Brown's sound and Graham Nash's sound and develop it into something else? Or Graham Parsons' sound, for that matter. See, a lot of people were mad that Graham Parsons didn't get fucking famous, but the Eagles did. But, such is life. What are you going to do?
Yeah, and I think what's funny is like taking all of those kind of sounds and then saying, let's just take out the chill vibes of this. Like, no chill vibes, but we'll sing chill vibes.
I don't know what to tell you. I mean, you can sit around and judge people, but,
like Chris does.
Yeah, but Chris goes to every fucking Michael Bay movie and jerks off.
He does.
I can't wait for next Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
And you're going to get caught like that, by the way.
You know what I say? Glenn Frey? Rest in piss.
All right, here's the thing, Fletcher. God. The Eagles are the milquetoast mom rock. Hicks is right. They suck. Fletcher, it's okay to be critical at any time. A man is dead, okay? Have a little class about yourself before you go tweeting out.
I have none.
Have the kind of class that a man running for president, Dr. Ben Carson, tweeted out immediately upon finding out. And perhaps this is one of the great tweets of all time. Let me get it here. It says simply, and this is from a man who's probably going to be our next president.
Mm-hmm.
Take it easy, Glenn Frey. It's your turn for that peaceful, easy feeling. For the rest of us, it's going to be a heartache tonight. Hashtag the Eagles. All right, when your life brings that kind of poetry from the next president of the United States.
It's beautiful. It makes a lot of sense that Ben Carson would dig the Eagles, though. Like, he seems...
Ben Carson should fucking do a brain operation on himself before he tweets. Yeah, he's like the black dude that likes the Eagles.
Who's
the beautiful blonde girl? She's got to be a big star, huh?
She's very cute, but I actually thought she was following someone else.
No. She's a star. She's my next star. I'm going to discover stars just walking by.
Hallway stars.
It's usually famous people's assistants.
Hallway star.
It's Ashley Benson. She's on the show Pretty Little Liars.
See? Not an assistant.
You're right.
I got the eyes for stars.
You're right.
She's a hallway star.
She's a hallway star.
On our new game show, Star or Not Star, where we parade,
Star or rep.
we parade people around that we don't know.
I'm going to turn over star for that little blonde.
You got it.
At the star.
Adam, what's up? Adam, we got you, buddy?
Oh, is this Ron?
Yes, it is.
Wow, I can't believe I'm talking to Ron and Gail. Chris, I could take or leave.
Sure. Like all of us.
Yeah, just how you feel about Glenn Frey.
I was actually calling about Don Henley. My dad was a grad student at UCLA in the 70s. He was living in a place in Laurel Canyon. And the owner of the place that he was renting it from asked him if he could give a prospective buyer a tour of the place. The guy turned out to be Don Henley, who's known for being a little bit prickly, and he said Don Henley could not have been nicer. He was the greatest guy. They spent the entire day walking around touring the house. Don Henley picked up a couple of guitars in his car, played them, gave my dad one. That was the nicest guy I'd met.
Sure. Sounds like someone's lying.
Let's see Frank Black do something like that.
Or Black Francis.
I can't keep up with all the names. He's like Chris Stanley Pepper Hicks. Look, let me tell you something. Not only has Black Francis, Frank Black, never handed anybody a guitar.
Yeah.
He's never been in a house that it took all day to tour around.
Mm-hmm. I think he takes people's guitars away from them. That's more his reputation.
I don't think.
Stop playing that.
I'm going to say something to Frank Black. I don't think he is a hallway star.
Oh, he's a huge hallway star. He walks by this hallway, everyone's freaking out.
Well, maybe he'll get in the rock and roll hallway of fame.
They're due.
But not the Hall of Fame that the Eagles have enjoyed themselves in. Chris, Philly.
Hey, guys, how are you?
What do you say?
The one thing, up until yesterday, the one thing I always thought was weird about the Eagles is they were the only bands from that era that still had alive all their original members and anyone that ever played for them. Most bands that were that big or from that era always had like one or two ODs or guys that died, and they still had all their original members up until yesterday.
Yeah, but they didn't play with them. if you go back and watch that documentary, no one cared less about the history of the band than those guys. They wouldn't fucking care. They're like, you know what? I found out that if we get rid of this guy, we can get another guy who'll play for $18.50 an hour, and that is more money for us. I mean, they don't even give fucking Joe Walsh after all these years a cut.
That's so fucked up. It's analog, man.
Not a straight cut. But, you know, if you go to those Eagles shows, and I see no reason that they'll stop now.
Of course not. Evil bastards.
Why does that make you evil?
It doesn't make you evil.
Out of respect
the Beatles still tour, don't they? Look, you had to. You started clicking to look it up instead of being a person. You know what? I might be doing this thing, Joe. I want you to work on this tonight.
Okay.
Two things are going to happen. Number one, you take away Stanley's keyboard.
Will do.
And number one, we train Vito to go to the stories that we're bringing up. Do you think he can pull it off?
I think he can do that, yeah.
Because I've asked Chris to work with him on that for yay months now. Is yay fit now?
Yeah.
Or should I say
liked it.
yay so many?
Yay
months?
does.
This is the umpteenth time you've asked him. I know that.
Thank you. And Mr. Cockafuck is too busy losing money.
Oh, God.
And we know Mr. Cockafuck is your boss.
Let me tell you something. If the fucking mob comes in here and starts breaking Chris's legs and ankles in front of us, I'm just going to laugh.
This is so bad.
I'm not going to be able to help. I don't have the upper body strength.
You don't want to help. The man deserves to be beat up. He fucking guarantees his bookie money that he doesn't have.
I'm digging this hole. But
I watched you not only lose your bets, but then go for the over-under parlay. Why don't you just bet straight up like an actual gambler?
because I like the action of the parlay and the payouts better. And once you're down on those night games, it's like, what am I gonna do? Bet straight up? I don't have the kind of cash to bet straight up to fucking win it back. So you gotta parlay it to fucking get your odds better. So that's why I was fucking going overs and unders.
But that was costing you winning your games.
Yes, I know. Both of the night games, Saturday and fucking Sunday.
So you would have won those two games without your parlays, and yet you're sitting there telling me how fucking parlays work in your benefit when they don't.
Well, parlay is like when you're combining.
Yeah, so everything has to hit.
You need everything to hit.
Gotcha.
But when I was out at the sports book in Vegas, and this is many, many years ago, probably close to 20 years ago, and I had all kinds of tickets, but I'm sitting with fucking really hardcore gamblers. And they're like, we don't let guys who fucking run parlays. You gotta fucking bet straight up in this area. And I'm like, yeah, of course. I'm only betting straight up. But I'm fucking thinking to myself, I gotta go back later and check on my parlays. See how I make it out.
Now, why do they look down on the parlay?
Now, look at Chris. Does he look like a real gambler to you? But let me just tell you something about Chris Stanley. And I'm honest when I say this.
Yeah.
It's from a scientific standpoint, a data standpoint, it's as hard to pick that many losers as it is to pick that many winners. If you're just flipping a coin, it should always come somewhere around 50%. So to go where Chris is like a 90-95% loser, that's almost as exciting data-wise as being a 90-95% winner.
You're right.
I should be getting lucky at some point. Like something, you know?
Like the Let It Ride movie, where the guy lost so much. By the way, there's never been a better gambler movie than that.
It's so good.
Amazing.
The excitement level in that fucking
so good.
movie.
It's so exciting. And I love that concept that the way he gets his picks is like just going around and talking to every unlucky son of a bitch.
Something magical will happen on every race. He did it differently, but one of it, he just went the opposite of all the other fucking track bumps. But the other thing is the cop in that movie could have been played by fucking Kenny, and the guy's amazing.
Love that, right? Love Tony Cheeseburgers. Travis's buddy.
Also love Jennifer Tilly's red dress.
Oh, Jesus.
Jerry in New York.
Hey, this is Jay. How you doing, Ron?
Good, man.
I just want to say, growing up in the 70s as a little kid running around the house, and the music of the Eagles, my mom, she would clean the house, and it was always on everywhere. I just remember, and it's like in your DNA. I mean,
you cannot avoid it. If you've ever listened to radio or been in stores or watched movies, you've heard the Eagles. They're just there. It's like saying, like, to somebody, oh, do you know what it feels like when it rains? That's what it's like to say to somebody, do you know what it's like to listen to the Eagles? You just can't get around it.
Yeah. To me, the Eagles just sounds like being in the car. Because it's just always on the radio my whole life.
Well, FM radio, probably any FM station probably has 20 to 30 Eagles songs in rotation where they'll have, 3 Billy Idols.
Right.
Let's get the Billy Idol up and get the Eagles down.
I mean, I'll tell you who's very close to the Eagles in that thing, and it's weird that they were in the same time, but Billy Joel. The amount of Billy Joel songs that you know without setting out to know is fucking high.
Where you're knowing, like, all the lyrics.
And remember, Chris, you were blacked out, but in the fucking club that night when Donnie Love sang Piano Man, the fucking room went crazy. New York, crazy.
Yeah. They went they went nuts, and everyone like jumped to their feet and just started like, you know,
like
hugging
grabbing
each
their
other
friends.
and doing that, all that.
There is something about and I guess it's when, radio got definitively formatted in the late 70s, you know what I mean? Where it was like, okay, here's the hits, they play this much, blah, blah, blah. And classic rock radio has run from that point on. You know what I mean? So you're much, no one has done more with less than George Thorogood, because he came out at the right exact time. I believe he's only written Bad to the Bone. And I'm not making that up. And he has fucking toured every day since, because he's never been off the radio.
Yeah.
And people will go, oh, George Thorogood's going to be at the Indian Casino. Let's go see him. And it's fucking happened for him. It was just the exact right time. If you look at all the fucking songs that everybody sings along with, the fucking Journey, the stupid wedding songs, so Meatloaf,
right,
came out the exact same time. Those things, and the Eagles were the kings of that time. Fleetwood Mac, kings and queens of that time. They're still playing giant places.
Yeah, huge.
Most people don't know any of their music after 79. They might know a couple of songs,
but the amount that you know during that time is insane.
Can't help it.
Like there's
it's played
like
so much.
Yeah, I mean, most people know 50 Fleetwood Mac songs. Like you could just.
I'll
sing
give you
them.
another one. Queen. The fucking amount of people who will sing along with Queen songs, again, because they were in that sweet spot of the 70s.
Right.
They don't sing along with people who came out in 1973. Those songs didn't catch on forever, but everybody finally in this country turned into the FM rock format by the late 70s, and those songs will never stop. And that, of course, is the exact time that we all checked into the Hotel California.
Oh, God.
And never checked out.
Take it easy, Glenn Frey. Brian in Minnesota.
Hey, how you doing? I listen to you guys just about every day, and I appreciate the Minnesota guy on there too.
Good.
What's up, Brian?
Yeah. We always said we need a good Minnesota guy because they can be trusted.
I know.
Exactly. Hey, I'm a musician, and you talk like the super group in the sky, of all those people that have ever died and stuff. For some reason, to me, and I'm sad that Glenn Frey died, but some reason to me, I feel better like when I die. But like he'd be the first guy I'd like to meet. Just I feel like he'd be the friendliest dude. I've played his music throughout my career from the.
Have you ever watched the documentary?
Yeah, I have.
I don't know if he's the friendliest dude ever.
Well, he's not. But I'm saying.
Oh, in heaven he will be.
Yeah. He'll think back on his actions.
But I mean, musicians are weird people, I mean, we all need the clowns to make us smile. That's what these guys are. That's what I am. I sit and I can stand on a stage and entertain 300 people, and then I go home and sit on my couch and watch TV, and I don't want to talk to anybody for a while, because that's the way we are. We're just introverts, but we are extroverts on stage, and then we're introverts in real life. And
I always like to say we couldn't even. We can't all be cowboys. Some of us are clowns, and some of us are dancers of the Midway, and we go from town to town.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
That's the line that I came up with, and I'm very proud of for myself. All right, thanks, Brian. Here is Matt in Knoxville.
Hey, what's up, crew?
Hey, man.
Hey, B-side of Hotel California, one of the most underrated sides of an album in the history of rock and roll. I mean, you look at it, it's Pretty Maids All in a Row, Try and Love Again, Wasted Time, Reprise, just a solid.
Yeah, I don't think that you could bring up the album Hotel California and underrate it. It has been one of the most celebrated albums of all time.
Well, yeah, this is true, but I guess the B-side just never gets any credit, and it's an awesome side.
Well, Pretty Maids All in a Row is such a fucking. That's I think we've done all the coke, and now I don't feel so good about myself. What have I done with my life song? And that's the great Joe Walsh, who Chris Stanley always tries to do jokes about.
Yeah.
Because he's an analog man.
He doesn't like that digital shit.
Nobody should, Chris. And none other than Stephen Hawking said, this fucking place is toast within 100 years.
I trust him.
Yeah, I know he's right. He does nothing but sit around and fucking think. And it takes him forever to be able to express himself.
He figured that out 6 months ago.
I had a fucking argument with Stephen Hawking one night. I was so pissed at him. I just fucking started fucking giving him a face job, just fucking yelling at him, screaming at him. And I reached over and I shut off his talk box. So he had to fucking take it.
Sounds abusive.
Speaking of abusive, look who it is. It's Hard Rock Johnny.
Hey.
Hi, Johnny.
Hi, Benningtons. Hi, really bad football picker.
Boy, he's terrible.
It was a bad weekend.
I think I just picked everything opposite you, and I think I won every game.
You'd have to.
Great. Well, I'm going to take myself out of the hole this weekend. I got two.
Yeah,
what are the lines, by the way?
Jason, baby.
Is Arizona +3 and Broncos +3. Broncos are a home dog.
Do you like those points?
Started
at 2.5 and went up.
I thought I was done with it.
Nope. Hey, look, if I like the points, I'm going to take them.
I heard you say on your Periscope that you would never do that again. And that was your jinx. And when you threw your stupid hat in the street.
And no cars would run over it. I was so pissed.
Can I tell you, I was so happy anytime your dumb scope came up. Because you make me happy that I didn't gamble. You know what I mean?
I was...
You make me happy that I didn't gamble, I didn't drink, and I didn't snort coke.
Look, the gambling thing was really bad this weekend, and I'm glad I could document that through Periscope. I thought there were some highs, mostly lows. There was only one high.
I have people hassling me. People are sending me messages saying, hey, you really should check up on Chris. I don't know if you've seen his Periscopes this week.
I get that all the time. And let me tell you something. You cannot help someone when they're on a fucking run. That he needs to bottom out. He needs to get beaten up by some Italians.
Oh no!
Would that be your bottom?
I'm going to put it there. The Italians are the criminals. I don't care what anybody says.
Hey,
they're the organized criminals.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of criminals, but these fuckers are organized.
Oh, spreadsheets and everything.
Everything.
You're not going to bet with Russians. What are we, fucking savages? Has society completely fallen apart? So, Johnny, why did you call us today? To talk about your Eagle pants on sale now?
I don't have any famous Eagle pants, unfortunately.
None?
Wow.
None here. We probably have some famous Eagle pants somewhere in the collection.
You must have some, drum heads or something.
No, I think we have some Joe Walsh stuff.
That's odd.
That's strange.
Yeah, by the way, no one ever brings it up, but the Eagles had two of the greatest guitar players of their fucking time playing for them. Like I said, Don Henley is on a short list of the greatest American voices. I don't know what to tell you, Chris.
I'm not a fan of their music. I mean,
you're not a fan because you fucking watched The Big Lebowski. And
oh my God, is that what it is?
No, I don't like it.
Because you want to be the dude.
No.
Yeah.
You're not the dude,
that movie,
Chris.
You're the dude, bro. Fuck.
That movie just validated my dislike for the band. I'm like, yeah, that's right, dude.
Oh my God, that's what it is.
Nope.
You got him.
Yeah, I got him. Millie Hatchett said, never a big Eagles fan, but I've always loved Joe Walsh and Jackson Brown. They gave the Eagles a teeny bit of coolness. You know what? I agree so much with Millie Hatchett. I'm going to send her into the Pretty Good Prize Closet for a tweet, which I never do. I never do. But everything that she said, it could have been said by me. So anyway, Johnny, you called us for a reason. I keep stopping you.
No, it was, just a little bit about music, a little bit about football.
Were you excited about hearing that I will be joining Voss and Bonnie for their podcast?
Yes, absolutely. One brilliant comic mind, and then Voss and Bonnie. It's going to be great.
You know what? You're a ball buster. Anybody, first of all, everybody respects Bonnie, so I don't have to defend her. Yes. But anybody who doesn't get that Voss is one of the funniest people that have not realized that O&A and Jimmy were joking all those years.
Oh, he's great.
They were always joking. Fucking Voss is unbelievable, and when you get to see him live, it's amazing. And I've worked standing next to him doing these things, and his quickness is ridiculous.
He's super fast.
Yeah.
Lightning fast and so funny.
I saw him at Bananas and Hackensack or Hasbrook Heights one year. He's great.
There you have it.
Nice.
Someone just started, in the audience. This is just a mistake. Do not try to do anything in the audience.
I fucking saw you in half.
He ripped someone apart. It was great.
I guess people would think that they could ball bust for that reason. They would be like, oh, yeah, I've heard people bust his balls. I probably could hang with them.
That's what happened from that whole tough crowd and then O&A having the guys on. And hearing the awful way that they all treat each other is like you could think, oh, yeah, Robert Kelly or Rich. No, those guys are not only fucking brutal, they're incredibly fast, they're incredibly funny. Don't make the fucking mistake of thinking to yourself, oh, I'm going to fucking, rip those guys a new ass. It's dumb.
Chop you down like an old dead tree.
Now, if you listen to the Skanks, yeah, go ahead, make fun of Louis J. Gomez. You're fine to do that. I hear a rumor that the Skanks are leaving Anthony's network, and Chris Stanley's show is being offered. And you had your shitty friend Chris with you during the podcast.
He was around, yeah.
Why do you hang out with Dick?
You shouldn't hang out with another Chris.
Not sure. I was pretty black. I wasn't blacked out, but I was pretty wasted.
She knew you very well.
Strange. I don't know.
She had a very El Chapo look about her, and she came out and did half the fucking the Periscope with you.
She the one who was wearing a shirt or something like that?
Yeah, she was the only girl on his thing that's ever wearing a shirt.
Ever. I usually make women take their shirts off if they're going to come on, which is why they don't come on.
God, what a douche.
People have written, there's been a line around the block of people that are ready to help Chris Stanley. And some of them feel like the Bennington show's enabling him. I'm not enabling somebody to let them make their own choices, Fucking Joe sleeps on a bunk bed. I find that odd, but I wouldn't go and stop him.
It's comfortable.
He's an adult.
7 foot high club.
Vito claps like a baby every time he sees a movie or hears a song.
Oh, God.
I don't like that, but I'm not going to stop him.
Yeah, it's cute.
Yeah.
But
Chris Stanley bets money he doesn't have.
Yep.
Snorts fucking coke out of a garden hose. And then does God knows what on those periscopes.
Things get weird sometimes, especially when I've been drinking for a long time. Oh, that was especially on Saturday.
I read a thing, a girl over the weekend. Well, two different girls. One dropped dead in the snow like you did because she passed out.
I saw that.
Never woke up, died. Another girl put out a thing that she almost died, went into a coma. She was just below you, like a 417 or something.
All right.
Yeah. And then I sent it to the iBuying. You're like, hey, this is funny. This girl reminds me of Chris. And they put up on there something like, have we got a centaur for you? And that made me laugh. We all saw movies over the weekend.
I
You
did.
saw what?
I saw The Martian.
Did you love? Not love.
I didn't love it. I was thinking that it was going to be a big performance. I thought that
It was a science.
I didn't hate it or anything.
It was science porn. Is what it was.
I didn't hate it. I was following the story. I was, pulling for him. But I was kind of surprised because I thought that the whole big thing about this was, that his performance was so good. I thought he kind of,
seemed like a regular
snoozed.
guy.
He kind of snoozed.
He was like a regular guy.
And it had like I guess it was supposed to have the Castaway vibe about it. Castaway is really corny, but it was. I thought it was less emotional than Castaway.
Castaway was really cut off from the world, and this guy wasn't.
I guess
he had contact with people, where Castaway was just literally fucking a soccer ball. But see, I would have liked this movie better. But I saw a sci-fi movie once on late night TV called Robin Crusoe on Mars, co-starring the original Batman. And this movie was, well, let me just say, pure excellence.
Sounds great.
So, I saw the movie Joy over the weekend. And my quick review was, it wasn't. Well, here's what I don't understand about Joy. It's about a real person who gets on home shopping. Could give a fuck, right? You know what I mean? Like, she's not an inventor, right?
Okay.
You're a fucking carny. Those things are not inventions. You know what I mean? How to, put stuff. These are people who are just like, the coffee cup tree? You know what I mean? Where it looks like a tree, but you can put all your coffee cups in.
Yeah, convenient.
I'm sure that's convenient, but it's not an invention.
Right. Now, what's her invention? Is like a ShamWow kind of thing?
Yeah, she invented something called the Miracle Mop. You can take the mop head off and wash it in a washing machine. And it's probably a helpful thing for whoever. But really, it's about how you sell that on TV.
Right.
I could give a fuck. But the best part of that was her trying to get on QVC. The best part of the whole movie is how do you get on QVC and can you sell it? This fucking director was the worst storyteller doing this. It was just fucking terrible.
How was she? How was her performance?
She's terrific. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I got no problem with her. I actually would say this. I prefer her doing this to Katniss and X-Files. For the heat of, isn't she great for little girls to watch? It's probably better for a little girl to see a movie about somebody who gets on QVC and starts their own weird business than there is about somebody who shoots arrows in someone's back. You know?
Just save it District 12. I mean.
To act like, hey, girl Rambo is really pushing women further ahead is fucking false. You know what I mean? It would be the universe would be served better if we would stop cheering for the fake Rambos than if we would now try to get more girl fake Rambos. So, from a thing of, hey, here's a person who started this fucking business and, got successful. Yeah. But that was only one part of the weird story that they tried to say. And there's a reason why she got nominated and no one else.
Right.
Now, I still haven't seen Spotlight. People have told me not to. And I see it keep winning awards. It just won the Critics Awards the other night. By the way, did you watch DJ Miller on that?
I did. I watched some of that.
He's so fucking funny.
He's really good. He's great.
All right, somebody said, why didn't you just watch Shark Tank? Here's the difference. Joy was there before Lori Greiner or whatever her name is. But yeah, I wouldn't mind going to the fucking... Shark Tank is the perfect example. Every once in a while you see something clever, but really it's fake corny things.
I don't know why I will always put on Shark Tank. It's my favorite. If I'm just like have TV on in the background, it's Shark Tank always. And then because you can pick up and be like, oh, that's kind of interesting. And then you can not pay attention for a while.
Anything that I've ever eaten from Shark Tank, like because they sell them at those movie theaters that... that the Maverick owns. Oh my God, your chocolate covered pretzels are no better than anybody else. So
I want to try that pipcorn though. It looks really good.
What was in it?
This tiny little popcorn. It's like a specific corn that is, the kernels are very tiny, and they're trying to say it's better for you, easier to digest. It's supposed to be really good. Pipcorn. I'm dying to try it, but it's on back order.
Here's the other thing. That Shark Tank, because they can't keep up.
I know.
Because everybody's just like, I want it.
Yeah, whether or not you end up getting a shark, you just got the spot on Shark Tank, so everyone
by the way,
wants to try.
you paid for that too. Like, you just made a partner of Shark Tank, whether you wanted to or not. You sign a deal.
Oh, yeah?
That the show Shark Tank gets part of your stuff. Because you go from nothing to selling 50,000 units.
Right.
And that's what happened to Joy the first time she went on QVC in Amish country. The other thing about Joy is, like, she moved into her version of a nice house, but just because it has 15 bedrooms doesn't make it nice. You know what I mean?
So many bedrooms.
Yeah, I know.
You could go in any bedroom.
You'd be better off with 4 bedrooms and a really beautiful house.
Just move into a barracks if she's so fucking crazy about it. She wants bed so
Guys,
much.
come through the
barracks. Hey, CJ, what's up, buddy?
Hey, man, I'm going to change my subject. It's on what
No,
we're
you
talking
can
about.
go with the subject you called for.
Okay, well, I just want to say the reason that I like the Eagles is because they had big balls, but they knew what they were. They didn't hide it. I mean, I saw them on that Union concert, and they start their show off with Hotel California. It's not an encore. They started with it because they know we're all staying. If you're an Eagles fan, they know what they're doing, but it's just kind of.
Well, they have like 30 hits.
Yeah, no, but you go. That's the big one. I mean, and they start the show up, and it's an acoustic version. Just go. I just kind of went. I take balls because that is their big one.
I'll tell you this:
That's
when I saw the Beach Boys in the '70s, they started with California Girls. I'm like, as much as I'm enjoying this, I wish we would have saved this.
Now on Chris Stanley, that 24-hour period from Saturday to Sunday, is really on the Periscope.
You can't turn it off.
It's
thrilling,
riveting.
man. And ask him, did he leave the Arizona game before the overtime? Because he was stoked about Green Bay, and I think he went out to take a smoke break. But that overtime ended really quick. I mean, it ended in the first 30 seconds. So I think he was really stoked. I don't know if he went back in and found out the bad news because he was really stoked on the Saturday night.
Well, this is what happened. First of all, at the half, I was just fucking losing my shit because I was still up plus 6.5. And then I saw what happened in the overtime, went out to fucking be like, yeah, we're going to fucking do it. Going to get this fucking over. And then as that was happening.
There's no break.
Yeah.
You think that they go back inside for overtime. They don't. They just run over and flip the coin again.
I'm outside smoking. I see Larry Fitzgerald, 35-yard reception. What the fuck? And I fucking stumbled back into the bar to just watch it. Or I was watching it on Periscope as fucking he got the goddamn touchdown. By
the way,
I was watching at that moment, watching my TV, the Periscope, watching you just smoke, missing it. I was dying.
2 things always make me laugh. Number 1, where he's at. You're in fucking Koreatown for no apparent reason. With these really, like you're saying that you don't remember that mean fucking girl that was with you.
No.
She was treating you like shit. And you're fucking taking it. I don't know, I'll just give you this thing because I don't want to be rude.
Yeah.
But she was low to the ground and wide to the road. She was just a real harsh looking little thing.
Okay.
And then Chris came in later.
Yeah.
And those 2 knew each other. So you know her.
Okay.
So that's always funny to me. Then the fact that Gail shows up and people just start saying, hi, Gail, for no apparent reason.
I have to address them.
Yeah.
They won't stop.
Hi, Gail.
Hi,
Gail.
Hi, everybody. What's Chris up to? Chris, are you okay?
No, I'm losing a lot of money and I'm not sober.
All right, people wrote, it's the same mean girl from The Roof. Is she a friend of Zito's?
Yeah. I don't think that girl was there.
I don't know.
Was the Roof friend?
I know one thing. Fez was furious that you're with Zito. And I'm trying to think of who he called Zito. Oh, he calls him the fucking Washington Redskins, QB.
Kirk Cousins?
Yeah. He says, he goes, oh, what's fucking Kirk Cousins doing there? Who's Kirk Cousins kissing up to? And I don't know why it's an insult for someone to look like Kirk Cousins.
Zito doesn't look like, I think Zito looks like fucking Johnny Football. If he looks like any fucking goddamn quarterback.
And one thing about him, he's aging faster than any human I've ever met. He was a baby when he came here.
He's
a baby.
fried.
Yeah, and he's just burnt.
But yeah, that overtime was fucked up because, it's happening as a first play of overtime. They couldn't fucking get a stop. Come on, Green Bay. You can't get the fucking field goal.
Well, here's what happened. You're wrong about the Green Bay never touched the ball.
Green Bay's defense.
But this is the second year in a row that they lost in overtime without touching the ball. It seems like it's not a fair fucking system. The fact that we don't get to see Aaron Rodgers
in
the overtime. And how do you not? I mean, everyone's making a big deal about that fucking. I mean, you can see his head is looking down when he threw. He just hauled one up. There's no way anyone should make that catch. Now, having said that, I'm so happy that the Panthers are in this, because if you don't have someone to root for, you want someone to root against. And the Panthers are everything that I hate about jocks. Taking pictures of themselves and, rubbing a football in their nuts and then handing it to a little kid.
That's disgusting.
Thank you. So I'm happy to have them. I'll be rooting for the Cardinals. And what are you scratching your head with that thing?
A pen.
You're driving me nuts, though.
Oh, throw that out, please.
He has taken the cartridge out.
Oh, God.
So he has that. And he's using the inky side of it to rub the back of his head.
It's a good angle on it. I'm going to put that away.
And is it also chewed up?
Yeah, I chewed the end of it.
He chews the end of it. That's why he's got ink in his fucking corner of his mouth.
Oh.
And then he rubs it off the back of his head while I'm sitting here attempting to do radio, looking at him. Vito, it's either time for you to step up and become Eric Stengel for me, or the experiment fails.
I'm ready.
I like the way he said that.
Yeah, I believe him.
I'll tell you one thing he's not ready for. It's giving out movie reviews, because I saw The Revenant over the weekend.
You love it?
Hated it.
Well, you're a tacky bitch.
No, Vito, you told me that the movie was great. I was saving it.
I'm excited to see it.
I loved it. Chris is an idiot. And doesn't like good films.
Who do I believe?
First of all, give the fucking Oscar to Stallone, because Tom Hardy ain't winning shit. He was doing a Buffalo Bill impression throughout the movie. Whenever he talked, he sounded like he was Buffalo Bill.
They all do that now. That's the Batman is Buffalo Bill.
He only came up with that because he hunts buffaloes. That's not even a creative opinion.
No, watch fucking Silence of the Lambs, and then watch this. And the movie was just boring. It was just a boring movie. Like there was no surprises. The ending was ridiculous, and there was just nothing. There was no reason to watch it.
It's me, Tom Hardy.
I'd fuck Leo.
Oh, and also I'm Batman. And I'm that other guy that Batman hated.
And he's Mad Max. Yeah, Revenant, no thank you.
My whole theater loved it. They were screaming. They were laughing. They were having a great
movies
time.
in the black neighborhood. They scream and they love. That's what they do.
You saw Star Wars with, we know. And then also...
You're racist, Chris.
Those are his friends, Chris.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
There's a difference between that he sees movies in the black neighborhoods where they do get happier, and the fact that he has black friends. That makes you the biggest racist.
You're the biggest racist
since George Wallace.
You're really edgy today.
I am no racist.
With his Eagle stuff.
He has no fucking money. There's nothing happening.
You have nothing to live for. Is that what you're saying?
Itchy, inky head.
Classic tacky bitch.
I don't know what the tacky part has anything to do with it. Look, The Revenant's not a good film, and Eddie Redmayne, lock it up for the Oscar. Leo ain't going to win. I know, he crawled around
Why don't you, first of all, even if the movie sucks, they're giving this Oscar to fucking Leo. It's a done deal. They owe Leo. They're not going to give it to this guy 2 years in a row on a movie, by the way, no one has seen.
I haven't seen
this Dutch girl or whatever the fuck it is.
A Dutch girl.
I think it's fucking playing in a barge off in the Atlantic Ocean. So you have to
make it.
International waters.
I just can't.
You got to swim out. There's not even a dinghy that'll take you out to it.
Now, I did see a movie that I loved also over the weekend that's new called The Lobster with Colin Farrell.
I've never heard of this.
All right. So this is the concept. It's very strange.
I've seen the trailer to this.
Is it about rock lobster?
It's not about rock lobsters, but so it's the future. It's just like somewhat future. There's a city, and all single people get sent to this one hotel. And if they don't find someone within 45 days, they're turned into an animal of their choosing. And that's the premise. And so he has to try to find a mate. It's fucking great. It's a very strange premise. It's very weird.
It's playing at the theaters now?
I believe so, yeah. I mean, in some theaters.
I'd like to see this.
Josh Austin says, Chris was at a high society radio party for the fans. He'll never plug them, though. You were on the Periscope, and I heard that Chris, and this girl that you're acting like you don't know, but apparently she's part of your podcast team.
She's on your team, and you're saying you don't know her?
Probably a listener. Yeah, probably. Okay. Let me think.
He's lying right now. You're a fucking liar.
I'm not a liar. I do nothing but tell the truth.
Why didn't you plug that you were having a high society party?
Yeah.
And your dude bros could have met you there.
Scope bros.
What's the difference?
No,
It's the same fucking thing.
No, total difference. It's total difference between a dude bro and a scope bro.
Why aren't you giving yourself that plus plus plus?
I just saw this on Fox News. 10% of college grads think that Judge Judy is on the Supreme Court.
Holy shit.
Do me a favor, we're stopping the vote this year.
Just take it away.
Remember, rock the vote? This is stop the vote.
Don't let them. But everyone should go see The Lobster.
Stop it with The Lobster.
Don't go see Revenant.
We're trying to find out why you think you have a secret life with your friends.
I don't.
And why won't you plug them? You plug every other fucking show that comes in here?
Yeah.
Oh.
You. Specifically you. You do the plugging.
I don't want to bother
And yet
anyone.
you will not plug yourself.
So where was this party at for your high society fans?
It's at Koreatown.
Why wouldn't you tell us that? Your fans from this show who may not even know that high society exists because you won't plug them. And even though you're telling me you're making some fat cash with that show, and as Don said to me, seems like they're cutting into Sirius XM subscribers. And he goes, we got to talk about this later. And I go, Don, that's Chris's thing. If you want to fire him, fire him. He deserves it.
What?
That's his business.
I also said I thought he was running secrets, our inside corporate secrets, back to a couple other companies.
What? No!
I'm going to spread that rumor.
Yeah.
That is nothing but rumor and hearsay.
Well, that in this fucking business, that's fact.
Oh, shit.
That's the business of radio.
I'm in a real fucking fact hole right now.
So you wouldn't share that it was a high society party?
It was a pizza party.
With the Scope Bros.
Or invite us.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
I didn't want to
think
bother
of that
everyone.
aspect.
What are you embarrassed about high society?
No, not at all.
Are you embarrassed of us?
No, God,
he couldn't be. When you see how his fucking so-called people treat him and scream at him.
Chris, do you think that we'll judge your friends?
No, not at all.
Why would you guys have a party in Koreatown?
That was the cheapest place we could find to rent a room.
So you're literally doing a gig there, and you won't fucking plug it on this show.
I didn't want to bother everyone with my shit.
Oh, Chris.
How about this? Bother us sometime by having us on High Society.
Okay.
Yeah, how
I mean,
come
I'm
you've
invited
never...
on every other fucking shitty podcast out there, but I can't get on your shitty podcast.
Just let him on your shitty podcast, Chris.
I'd love to have you on my shitty podcast.
What about
Not
me?
shitty. Of course, Gail.
Why couldn't we go to Koreatown in the room you rented?
You know I love Koreatown, right?
And why didn't you do the fucking your thing from the room? That would have been fun.
There was no internet in there. There was 3G.
Invited them all out with you.
Yeah. And had them
Good idea.
Stop living in a lie.
Scream some of your like high society catchphrases and stuff.
Yeah. What's some of the stuff you say?
Like, what's your catchphrase?
Hi.
Again, hi. You'd be like, hi.
That's when they see each other.
Yeah. With a GH, right?
Yeah. Fuck yeah. Bob, West Virginia.
Ronnie, I've got more bad news, my friend, and I hate it. It seems to be coming in waves. Mick Gillette, the founder and leading light of Tower of Power, has passed away. And I know you know Tower of Power, one of the best punk bands ever.
Yeah, and of course, the Tower of Power horn section went out and played on so many other people's albums. They're phenomenal. But why is Barack Obama killing all of our rock gods?
Why is he doing it?
844 Rock God. What is his end game here? Why and when will it stop?
Is he doing it to hurt us?
The drummer from Out the Hoople died. Maybe you've heard of David Bowie. It was tough for me not to play a song of his today. It helped that Glenn Frey died.
Yeah.
I came back and played one of his songs and just kept it going.
All the young dudes.
Gone. Bob, Jersey.
Hey guys, what's going on?
Yeah, what's up?
I might have missed it, but Ronnie, I want to hear your take. What do you think about the Hateful Eight? I watched it last week and curious what you thought about it.
Well, I enjoyed it. I could see why he pushed people away doing this in 70 millimeter and making it extra long. But I'm a Tarantino fan, so I had a good time with it. But I see that he was purposely saying to viewers, it's my way or the highway.
I was a big fan of it. I
loved it.
I really enjoyed it. Loved it.
Loved it.
Joe?
Loved it.
Around here, around these parts, Bob, sound like people love it.
Love it.
I love it.
All right, deal with it.
And the Revenant's barely shorter than that, so the length thing isn't a problem.
By the way, this was just sent to me that Amy Schumer has tweeted out a happy birthday to Dave Attell.
Oh, happy birthday.
So I went the Bennington show to put out Dave Attell is America's finest living comedian. Living. Put living in capital letters.
Okay, all caps.
Living. Or with the G at the end.
Chaz has a remark about Chris Stanley. Chaz.
Yeah, Ron, I'm just saying it. I think with Stanley, and I know this from experience, it's not stupidity, it's drug and alcohol abuse. That's all it is. That's all it is.
Yeah, but what came before the drug and alcohol abuse? There's some kind of self-hatred that, that empty hole in him that he's filling with drugs and alcohol and gambling.
But you have to work that out, Ronnie.
Yeah.
You know that, man. Come on.
I want to fill up.
Well, he doesn't want to work. Chris does not want to work.
Yep.
But, to me, it doesn't matter what the cause is. It just got to stop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right on. Right on. Well, Stanley, right on, man.
I mean, you could go to
60.
You could go to a fucking shrink and hear a million times, say every day about how your childhood was fucked up. What's that got to do with today? Say it once, get validation if you want to, and then move on. Chris Stanley has something deeply wrong with him. Now, the fact that it helps this show, because we can hold him up as a fucking grown man who's afraid to say, oh, I'm in Koreatown with my podcast listeners. He does I'm not worthy of a plug, even though every other person who comes in here is.
Yeah.
Why do you feel that way? That's crazy.
Then why fucking make this podcast if you're so ashamed of it?
I'm not ashamed of anything. Ashamed of nothing.
Then why don't you promote it?
I'll begin promoting it.
That's not that fucking thing is I'm caught, so I'm going to agree with you, is something teenagers do. Teens do that.
You're worthy of a plug, Chris Stanley. God damn it.
Thank you.
Your other show fell apart because you wouldn't fucking plug it. And now Dave's on top of the fucking mountains without you. And Keith and Anthony say if they ever even seen you, they're going to stomp your shit.
Jesus. What? Is that true?
By the way, I just want to say congratulations to Kevin Hart. He single-handedly beat Star Wars.
He did it?
Yeah, Star Wars is done now.
Get the shit kicked out of him.
Wow.
Spike Lee and Jada Smith have asked Chris Rock. They're saying that they're going to boycott the Oscars. And there was some talk about Chris Rock joining them. And it looks like Chris Rock is going to do his Oscar gig. But we'll talk about that when we get back, and we'll figure out how we can stop Barack Obama from killing all of our favorite rock stars before he leaves office. Bennington Show. Bets. Chris loses at bets.
Make it back this weekend.
You already know that you're taking points. Num, 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 num.
That's what I'm feeling. I mean, that's the initial feelings from myself,
Can I tell you something about all the bullshit that goes down? And the 4 best teams all season are there now. You cannot complain. But all this stuff is Seattle and Pittsburgh are getting hot at the right moment there, Andy. No, they aren't. They're getting their fucking asses beat.
And shut the fuck down.
They try to make it more than it is,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's a good healthy competition here.
No. All the best teams are playing this weekend. You can't have any complaints about what two teams go into this. I mean, yeah, I'm sure that there's certain people that want to see Peyton there because this will probably be, whatever his last game this season is his last game. There's no doubt about that. Patriots fans are want to see their guy go out and beat the record by winning his 5th Super Bowl. I get that. Carolina and Cardinals have never won a Super Bowl. So either one of those stories are great. You either got two teams that have never won a Super Bowl playing teams that have, with these kind of generation-defining quarterbacks. The hype is all set up no matter what happens. Who do you want to see, Joe?
Right now, I'm leaning towards Arizona, towards the Cardinals.
And
I think they're going to go against the Patriots. I think Tom Brady's going to pull it out.
Why would I have to even ask him the end? Did he honestly think just one team was going to show up at the Super Bowl?
Where are the Patriots? Where did they go?
Joe forgot to call. Joe forgot to have his second wish. Now, do you even wish at all?
No, I don't wish. I feel like at this point, yeah, like I was feeling this weekend, like it was so fun to just enjoy some games that you're not emotionally invested in.
Yeah.
I enjoy this part when the Eagles are gone and there's no more emotional attachment to anything.
You mean Glenn Frey?
No, yeah. I don't mean Glenn Frey. I'm not trying to Chris Stanley shock jock this moment.
What do you think was harder for Eagles fans? Glenn Frey dying or Chip ever becoming head coach?
Chip, clearly.
Yeah. I heard that Don Henley's already called him about joining the Eagles.
Oh my God, that's the reason
coach / acoustical guitar player. All right, so black people are talking about not watching the Oscars this year, despite the fact that Chris Rock is there because it's the Lily White People Awards. I don't know who this is supposed to hurt, but here's the problem. Jada doing this on a year that her husband was on the bubble about getting, nominated, it kind of looks bad.
Yeah.
It would look better from somebody other than Will Smith's wife.
It looks really bad. It's not that she's wrong about where she's coming from, but it's a couple things. One, it's self-serving because it's clearly that everyone thought he was going to get a nomination for the silly voice. Like
none of us did.
Yes, I'm saying they personally thought.
This fucking movie was not put together well, hasn't been seen. There just isn't any buzz on it whatsoever.
Yeah.
So this wasn't some kind of shock. I mean, quite frankly, there's other people that I thought for sure were a slam dunk that didn't go in. I didn't think it was Will Smith's year. As a matter of fact, it looked like when Will Smith, they said this movie was coming out, it looked like, what does he want, an Oscar all of a sudden?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry, your marketing campaign to get an Oscar didn't work out. But see, this to me, it isn't who gets nominated for the awards that she should be fighting. You could make a complaint that where's, more black film. Like,
yes.
You can never complain that there aren't enough, Pakistanis in film or Japanese dudes in film. There's been some slight movement ahead. Women don't get the same opportunities as dudes. So some of those things, but hey, we're not there for these shiny awards is fucking embarrassing.
Yeah, I think the argument puts the cart before the horse because really what it should be focused on is, hey, let's talk about better roles for people of color in film.
Can I tell you something?
And the people who are making films, let's get them better noticed. Those kind of things. Not like we wanted an award because my husband did an accent. It's not going to look good.
But here's the deal. I don't see any white people doing good work this year.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole thing stinks. The whole thing has been basically taken over by fucking cartoons and superheroes and Star Wars.
Here's what I will ask you. Do you think that Will Smith would have got nominated if he was the Martian?
That's a good question, and one that we never know. You know what I mean? We don't know if Johnny Depp would have gotten elected if he was the Martian. I mean, the weirdest thing about awards is you can't say that one guy, I mean, you have to say, but the fact that Leo fought a bear and somebody else pretended they were a Martian, it's hard to say who did better there. They're not doing even the same thing.
Right.
Did you see the movie Carol?
I didn't see it.
That's one of those things that people are like, well, why didn't it get the lesbian award? It was, you know what I mean? Like, why wasn't that our Outbrook Mountain back? It was kind of a slow period piece, you know what I mean?
Right.
One of the girls, Rooney Mara, I thought she was unbelievable in it. But I can't sit around and say it was an unbelievable film. You know what I mean? I can't say that.
Yeah.
But I don't say that about any film this year. There isn't any film that has fit into that thing where you're like, fuck, this film's so good, I want all my friends to see it.
Yeah, it was kind of
I feel that way about a couple TV shows, but not about movies. Last year was a slow year. The year before that was a slow year. Frank, Connecticut. Frank.
Yes, hello.
Yeah, your phone kind of blows, dude.
Okay, I'm sorry. Can you hear me better now?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay. Just want to say one thing. If the blacks aren't bitching about something, they're not happy. If it's not the riots, it's always
Frank.
something. Always something.
Frank.
Who cares?
Frank, I'm going to be doing Anthony's show at 4 o'clock. Why don't you call in for that? Probably my caller of the day.
Who cares? They're always bitching about
Save it for 4, dude.
All right, thanks.
4 o'clock. Text. All right. See you then. And I'll be like, everybody will be like going crazy when you call. They're going to love it.
Know your audience.
I do. I do. What about your favorite film this year, Chris? What was it?
Either The Lobster or Ex Machina.
Now, Ex Machina, I liked, but I would not put it. I mean, when you're saying you're up for the Oscar, you're going to win the Oscar, you're considered one of the greatest of all time. And by the way, Wilbon brought this up yesterday, and I couldn't agree more about the Panthers. That they're a really good team, but they're not one of the best of all time, and they're fucking acting like it.
They're acting like they're unstoppable.
If they just acted cool, I'd be like, those Panthers are a really good team. But the fact that they're acting like they're the fucking 85 Bears is what's annoying me.
I blame Ron Rivera and I blame Cam Newton, because neither of them can keep their shit together.
But don't you agree about Ex Machina, even though it was a terrifically done film? There was nothing new. They didn't take us to a new place in sci-fi. And it kind of didn't stay with you the way you expect a great film to do, where you're still talking about it long after the fact.
Now, did you like that more than The Hateful Eight?
No, I liked Hateful Eight more than Ex Machina.
But you didn't bring it up.
Yeah, you didn't say it.
You just said the two fucking films.
Because I had this thing this weekend. I was thinking about this, and I was going through what came out in 2015. There's almost nothing that stands out to me. I
It
really
stays
liked.
with you.
Yeah, I liked The Hateful Eight, but there was pretty much nothing else that I was like.
The Hateful Eight.
I had a big experience when I went to the
What
movies.
about Ex Machina?
I didn't see it.
Okay, I think you'll like it. But here's the thing about Hateful Eight. Is it anywhere near your top 5 in fucking Tarantino films? You know what I mean? Like, at some point, I'm sorry to a filmmaker, you are measured against yourself. Kyle in California.
Hey guys, love the show as always. Listen, the Oscars are kind of pretentious even to white people. You think about how they...
White people have never been... No, you're right. White people have never been crazy about the Oscars.
They snubbed Scorsese for so long, and we saw a black guy completely own a Star Wars movie this year. Just because the Oscars don't nominate Star Wars movies, that's not sucks. I think that the whole system sucks.
You know, there's no doubt that the Star Wars franchise, whatever they're called now, the Star Wars universe, the Disney guys, didn't go out of their way to make it, you know, okay that there's people of all different races. But let's talk about that Star Wars stormtrooper. To know what he had to do to be in there in basically a racist society and getting ahead as a black stormtrooper only to panic in his first battle, I kind of feel like it made black people look bad because that was the first stormtrooper panic attack in fucking history.
He couldn't hang.
Yeah.
I mean, just kill the villagers, man. Just pull the fucking trigger.
But it was
even
his humanity that stopped him.
But you know, immediately he went into the other side. He wasn't like a peace guy, like, oh.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
He's like, I got to...
Like, he was in deeper than Han Solo within seconds. You know? John.
Ron, you just fucking cracked me up, man. I always laugh my ass off.
Yeah.
I can't believe you're not going to have any love to Mad Max. It was great. And an 80-year-old director that did the old movies and then translated that into the new. That movie was fucking great, man.
Well, Chris, I see you looking negative about this, but
I just don't understand, like, the universal law. I saw Mad Max. And it's like, it's a Mad Max movie. It's the same as the other three. It's just a fucking...
Well, it was certainly shot completely different than the other ones. Certainly, if you go back and look at the 1979 movie, you're looking at a completely different genre. So you're not making sense with that.
But it is shocking the love that it's getting for the type of movie it is. I was very shocked when I saw it and was like, "Oh, it's an action movie."
Yeah.
But I'm curious why specifically the critical acclaim.
The way it's shot blows people away. You know, and there's cinematography. I'm going to agree that you don't care about the characters. A scene takes place that should be one of the most horrifying scenes in the history of film. And I looked at it and I felt nothing.
Yeah.
And I normally would have screamed at the thought of this. And I'm talking about the baby scene, John. You know where I'm coming from. But I did not. I felt like I was watching a video game. Now, having said that, from a technical point of view, it was fantastic. It was beautiful. But I think it's amazing that film is getting nominated and the Star Wars isn't. And Star Wars actually went out of their way to have more of a story than...
I was surprised at that as well, that they did nominate them, but that's what I love about Mad Max is that that's not an Oscar movie, and I love the fact that I want to see it take all the categories and fuck all these artsy shit.
Well, it probably will take a hell of a lot of the technical categories.
Only 10%, less than 10% CGI. That's pretty impressive in today's world.
First of all, I didn't even know that. I didn't know there was that.
They made all that shit. It's crazy.
But it was madness. But from a story point of view, you know what? I think it would have worked better if Mel Gibson would have been in the movie. I think we would have felt more connected because we had followed him into those movies before. But Mad Max was not, you didn't even give a shit about him. You cared more about the girl than him.
It was her movie. I mean, it's called Mad Max, and he didn't even have an Australian accent. Again, Tom Hardy doesn't know what he's doing.
I don't even think he had 30 lines in that movie.
I got a grade.
He was...
But they had to strap him on the front. Look at what they do at the beginning of that movie where he strapped on the front of that thing. Crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it looks cool. It looked like that Queens of the Stone Age video. It's just as cool as that. Remember? Go with the flow?
Yeah, it was kind of...
It looked exactly like that video.
That's kind of true.
That's what I was thinking the whole time. I was like, man, I want to put on that song right now.
Here is Garrett in St. Louis.
Hey, this is my first time listening to the show.
It's great, isn't it?
Yeah, I just want to comment on the Mad Max thing. I think, it's just an action movie, but it has like a nice slower pace. It's not a bunch of quick cuts and a bunch of BS like a lot of the newer action movies. So it's kind of refreshing.
Yeah, I mean, there's something different about that, but it is really one long action scene. Like they would have, I think that they would have been better served to slow down, let us care about the characters from time to time.
I actually had that problem. Things were moving so fast, so I'm like, who's dead? Who's that? What just happened?
Yeah, people were just ripping off and falling under tires and stuff.
Yeah.
And you just really don't care. I didn't care for them. And nothing about their world was going to be that much better when it was over.
Yeah, they're still fucked.
Yeah.
I mean, they're wasting more
the fact that Mad Max still wants to get out of there goes to show it doesn't matter. The world itself is fucked. Like Stephen King, not Stephen King, what's his little name? The little scientist. Stephen Hawking told us the other day, you're not going to survive, humans. It's done within 100 years.
That's so soon.
The funny thing is, do you think America falls first or everybody goes out together?
I think America goes first.
I did.
It's going early. That's for sure.
I think we're going to come some kind of corporate world very, very soon. You know?
Like in Rollerball?
Exactly like in Rollerball.
Oh, shit.
Original. I didn't see the remake.
And, well, the remake has nothing about it, but, I mean, it's not even tied in. But in corporate world, I don't care where I am or who I'm rooting for, I will be chanting, Jonathan, 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 Jonathan. Now, by the way, why does that guy, and it happens every time, one guy breaks off and kind of takes the lead role.
Wouldn't it be funnier if the crowd tried to follow him? And they're like, no, Jonathan. Oh, wait, should we stay at the regular?
Yeah, you guys stay in that thing that we set up.
Okay.
And then I break off. I'm the coach. So I break off and yell Jonathan. And he wasn't even that close with him, the coach.
Took him for granted, really.
I want to watch Rollerball right now.
Now, did any of you guys see the cartoon that is nominated, Anomalisa?
No, I did not.
Not see it.
You guys are supposed to be fucking.
I know, you're right.
What I mean,
I have it
We are
at home. I'm
supposed to
going to
be.
watch it.
I mean, you have it.
How do you have it?
I have, I have my ways.
You have everything.
God, you steal from people that make small.
Oh, my God. That's sick.
That's probably why your karma's so bad. You lose every bet.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Because you owe the universe that money that you've taken.
All right, so let's play this game with Jada Pinkett Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Does she have a point or no?
She is misguided with the way she approached it.
Chris.
She doesn't have a point.
Joey.
I think she has a point. She did it at the wrong time, though.
What's her point? Who should have been nominated this year? Sam Jackson?
I guess.
If Sam Jackson gets nominated, is everybody happier?
Yeah, I feel better about it personally.
Because I had no problem with Sam Jackson getting nominated.
Hell yeah.
He was fucking terrific. The other one of...
There's another big performance that everyone's talking about.
Well, there's that war movie, like Beast of the Beast thing.
Yeah, that's the one.
I never even got to see it. It's
People
not
are
big.
saying the actor in that movie, which I can't remember his name.
Kid, though, right?
Was it a
No.
Netflix movie?
No, it's the one where you're looking at like 8-year-old
Child warriors?
Yeah, child warriors. I mean, I have trouble even watching those. What are you saying?
He's trying to mouth it to me. Just say it into the mic.
Idris Elba.
That's it.
What is it?
Idris Elba.
He did a Netflix movie about like little refugee kids.
Well,
Yes.
a Netflix movie is not going to be nominated for an Oscar.
They nominated at the Golden Globes. A documentary got nominated.
Golden
Yeah,
Globes
but
ain't
that's
the
not the same. You've got to be released in the theaters. They have rules about.
You have to have one screening in a theater before the calendar year's over. I think that's the only rule.
Well, then they do it. That's the problem.
I have no idea if they did it.
Yeah.
Then you can't act like the guy got ripped
But
off.
let's just take a moment to think that he's trying to mouth to me Idris Elba. And like that,
Idris Elba.
like, why would I be able to pick that up?
Iris Elbow?
He's a popular guy, Stringer Bell from The Wire.
You would have been
We
better off
get
from
it,
Stringer
but
Bell.
what? You're not going to be able to pick that up. Here's Lewis and Money Making Manhattan.
Hey, what's up, guys? I've been brainstorming this, and I think I have a plan to save the Oscars. I think,
Oh, good.
Yeah, I think we definitely need more categories, and it needs to be a lot longer.
Well, I have all day. You know what I mean? Like, I got nothing to do.
You know, I block off my calendar every year.
But the problem is they started at 9:00 at night. Start at 3:00 in the afternoon when you're doing the walk-in, and start giving out awards then. I got nowhere to be.
Couple of the small ones.
I just watched 4 long fucking football games over the weekend. My problem is it's fucking 12:30, 1 o'clock on a Sunday night. I got to get some shut-eye.
Exactly.
I'm getting up in 11 hours.
You could DVR it. I do think it should be long. I'm the type of person that I feel that movies are should be a lot longer, and the Oscars should be a lot longer. Like I go there to be entertained, and I don't want to just sit there and then.
Well, you want your money's worth.
See, here's the thing: no one ever says something is too long if they love what's happening at the time. So there's no such thing as a fucking too long of a movie. It's like, dude, you're boring me now. You're saying the same shit over. Like when I watched The Martian, they said a lot of the same shit over.
They did, yeah.
Forget checking the math. We know we're going to check the math. Stop asking me if I'm sure about the math.
Are you
I'm
sure?
fucking down. I'm a fucking scientist.
I get you.
But you know what? The thing with Jada Smith was, first of all, you can never be the guy who leads. And second, you can never act like the prizes for anything that are picked like that are so important.
Yeah.
Like if somebody was carrying their Oscar around with them, we think that guy was a dick. You know what I mean? We'd be like, why are you carrying your Oscar?
It's all tarnished.
It's fucking important. There's only one wrestler who ever carried around his Slammy Awards. And he looked... You don't remember the blue blazer?
Oh, no.
Come on.
How do you forget the blue blazer?
How could you, Chris?
Terrible. I forgot.
And that was basically what I loved about Owen Hart doing that. He said, look how ridiculous awards are.
Yeah.
But if Daniel Day-Lewis was walking everywhere with his fucking Oscars in his hand, he'd look like a madman. But, should she say, hey, we need more black actors, we need more black filmmakers? Everybody agrees. But see, Spike said that he would be in that thing. Spike didn't make an Oscar movie this year. He's made them before.
Yeah.
I don't remember when I fucking tried to run down, you should have won the Oscar to Spike, and he blew me off and said, no, I care about this.
Yeah,
Because he should have won in 89.
Yeah.
Look it up. See if you guys can find it. It's the last time Spike came in, and he goes, they're giving me this Lifetime Achievement Award. I go, for the one that you should have won. He was like, no. It's not like that. And now he's going the exact opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of cringed. When you told him that he should have won a real one. I kind of cringed at that point.
Dude, he should have won Do the Right Thing, period.
Yes.
That fucking movie's unbelievable.
And School Days. I would give it for School Days.
I love School Days. I'm going to tell you something else. People might not like the subject, but fucking Malcolm X is a unbelievably made film, and Denzel is unbelievable.
I fucking love Malcolm X. It's amazing.
And no one ever brings it up, but Spike pretty much made Denzel. He's the one who, he did you're going to say that that Tarantino's made certain actors. It's not an insult to say that Scorsese made Robert De Niro, but Denzel was a lot to Spike. So does Sam Jackson, if I want to be totally honest here.
Nah, I would go with him with Quentin. I think Quentin made him.
Who had him first?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
But still, he was still playing minor roles. He was the little jokey guy.
Yeah, but he killed.
He was like a Chris Stanley.
Yeah, he was. He was like the Chris Stanley. And when he screamed, I smoked the TV set. It was one of my favorite lines of all time. All right, thanks, Louis. Good to talk to you again, buddy. Here's Dylan in Atlanta.
Hey, guys.
Yeah.
Stupid boycott. I mean, it's only been 2 years. Black actors and actresses have been nominated for decades. Many of them have won. I mean, wait till at least 5 years of getting shut out. I mean, so I saw Concussion and Hateful Eight, and they were both excellent. And, yeah, I think they were well-deserved of nominations, but so what? Now, any black actor or actress who gets nominated, they're going to wonder, do they really believe this, or are they just doing this because of the stupid boycott?
There is some truth to that as well. Let me check in with an expert, an actual movie, TV, radio, and podcasting star, Mr. Jay Moore. Jay Moore.
Where's the television, Gator?
I smoked it.
You know the Mets lost, and that's some sad shit. You know, half of them can't play as well as mama. Where is my television? I smoked the television, motherfucker. I smoked it. I just love, you know, the Mets lost, and that's some sad shit. Half of them can't play as well as mama. And you're right about Denzel being made by Spike Lee. There's a terrible movie, Mo Better Blues. But the one scene, Ronnie, in Mo Better Blues that made everybody sort of say, A, there's a true filmmaker at work, and B, this guy is ridiculously talented, is a 360-degree shot of Denzel with just his hand sitting still doing trumpet solos with his eyes closed. Remember that?
Yeah, that's a great scene.
And you're like, Jesus, he's awesome, and whoever directed this is awesome. And Danny Aiello was nominated for Do the Right Thing. I just killed your fucking radio.
Yeah.
When you come to South, there's no music, no rap, no music, no music. Hey, how come you don't have any pictures of brothers on the wall? You want pictures of brothers on the wall? Open your own pizzeria. At South, it's Italian Americans only. You open your pizzeria, you could put your brothers, you could put your sisters, you could put your fucking uncles. Are you a troublemaker?
Well, then he would
boycott up there. Sorry.
Then he would turn around and have a very uncomfortable, flirty, fucking relationship with his delivery guy's sister.
Yeah. The flirt where he wants to fuck Spike Lee's sister, the big flirt is extra toppings. No, I'm going to make it something special, something nice. And then, real quick, Spike Lee calls him on it. He goes, I don't care if you fire my fucking ass right now. And he's insinuating that Danny Aiello wants to fuck his sister. And then Danny Aiello with one of my all-time favorite lines that I've used in real life, Ronnie.
Yeah.
You know what? If you were just a little bit taller, I'd kick you right in your fucking ass.
Danny Aiello was great in that movie.
And then he lost his mind, apparently.
Yeah, well, I've had him on here a couple of times, and you will never not have a good time with him on your radio show.
Yeah. You know, you guys are talking about movies that are too long. There are some classics that you could take 20 minutes out, and they'd be actual classics. Scarface, way too fucking long. Ridiculously too long and too much synthesizer music, right?
What would you get rid of in Scarface, though, if we had to go and do the quick edit?
I would get rid of any shot of furniture, wall, or a room with a synthesizer going, meow, meow, meow. You know, there's a reason on Law and Order you never see them going anywhere. They go, well, looks like we got to pay the judge a visit. Bong, bong. Next thing, they're in the judge's house. Never in a fucking car going up the FDR freeway going, hey, I wonder what the judge's got. They just got them there. All right, here's another one. So I take away any shot of, that you know, Ronnie, they call it an establishing shot.
Right.
Like, we are interior. Tony Montana's home. We rake across the living, gone, bye-bye. If she's in the bathtub, just show me the bathtub. You don't just go, I know it's a big bathtub. Easy there, filmmaker. I know it's a big bathtub. You had me at the, no.
I wouldn't get rid of that synthesizer for anything, though, because it was basically just used in Midnight Express, so they couldn't wait to really use it again.
I got one for you.
What's that?
Deer Hunter. Do I really need to sit through 20 minutes of a fucking wedding that has nothing to do with anything? I get it.
Love the wedding scene, though. It's
pretty great.
All right, you need a close-up of the tablecloth and the saucer and people that are not in the movie dancing. When you see it for the 50th time, and you know the scene in the bar where they sing God Bless America is coming up, you're like, this is wasting my goddamn time.
Let me tell you, I thought that living
I don't care how bad you are at me, Ryan. That's not half as bad as Daddy's going to be at us. You don't think I know it's trash truck day? That's why I have a goddamn 4-year-old at home. He opens his eyes and says, Daddy, today's trash truck day. Let's go watch them. Are they green or blue? And I tell him, they're blue.
Still not for no reason. Now, as far as Deer Hunter, I thought that fucking Pennsylvania steel town looked scarier than living in Vietnam. I just
so
thought,
depressing.
Yeah, I just was like, please, I think you're able to get out. Maybe move to New York or Florida or LA somewhere. You don't have to live here.
since we're talking about lines in movies, I think the one line I know, for me personally, the De Niro line that goes overlooked, Taxi Driver, way too long. I don't need a shot of a rearview mirror, and I don't need a shot of the street over and over and over to the same spooky music. Oh, I know, it's raining, dick. Jesus Christ, get there. As Buddy Hackett would say, are you going to get to the manhole or not? And I said, what do you mean? Well, you remember silent pictures? You see your hero in a white suit, white hat, white cane, white gloves. He's walking down the street, not a care in the world. And then all of a sudden, we cut to workers pouring coal into a manhole. Now, we know the guy in the white suit's going to fall in the manhole. So you wait, and eventually you go, dude, you got to cut to the manhole already.
Jay Moore explaining movies, even great movies, are going too long.
In The Deer Hunter that nobody knows, that is probably the single greatest sentence ever uttered by Robert De Niro. And that's like, you want to know the acting that he had in his bones, is when they're planning their escape in the pit, right? In the water.
Yeah.
And then he just walking goes, we can't leave him down here to die. We can't go. Go where? Where are we going to go? And then De Niro, like, he cries. He goes, I want to stay down here and die. And it's lightning quick. And it's just, they're on to something. It's not like something in him came to the surface in that sentence. It makes me cry when I look at it.
All right. Ryan Kurtz tweeted this to us. Get rid of the awful Playboy bunny scene in Apocalypse Now. It added nothing. Well, they got rid of a ton of stuff in Apocalypse Now. There's that whole French.
They had dinner with them, yeah.
Yeah, that thing went on
French
forever.
Thing is way more interesting to me than the play. That guy might not be onto something, that Twitter guy.
Yeah.
It's the French stuff that they cut out with Martin Sheen having dinner.
Yeah.
The expats, that was way like, whoa, because that's what really went down. Like, just people living in the middle of a war.
But also, I think the reason why they kept the Playboy bunny thing is because of Bill Graham was in.
I thought it was because of tits and ass, right?
Yeah. And
who's in charge here? Ain't you?
It's a great fucking thing.
Ronnie,
Yeah.
I gotta tell you, I got my XM satellite subscription because of I drive to work every day. I'm Bennington, baby.
Thank you, my friend.
Hey, I just wanted to tell you that some of these classics, you can lose. You don't have to lose the wedding scene, Ronnie, because you need John Castell to punch Meryl Streep in the face. I understand that.
Well,
who doesn't want to see that, right?
I know Gail disagrees with me, but I would definitely get rid of the French girl hanging out in Pulp Fiction.
I so disagree. I could watch an entire movie, the Butch and Fabian movie.
My God, you're crazy! Don't share a mic with that man across from you. By which I had a pot belly like Madonna. Shut the fuck up! You're ruining this perfect movie, you twat.
It's a big stack of blueberry pancakes.
Get to Bruce Willis, and nobody talks about the fact that his nose looks exactly like the eagle from the Muppet Show.
But that is true, though.
And for dessert, a slice of blueberry pie.
About Quentin Tarantino, also he's an Australian guy in Django, a perfect film. And then it turns into a goddamn cartoon.
Yeah, it's not a perfect film for me.
It was perfect until the cartoon fucking, hey, I can't see through my KKK hood. Who made my mommy? Look, did a hard job, did the best she could. Why don't you make the hoods next time?
Jay, did you see Hateful Eight?
Did I see what, honey?
Did you see Hateful Eight?
No.
No, I haven't seen it yet. Well, you got that baby that you're reading to at night, every night.
Oh, yeah. Periscope, nighttime bed stories.
I watch nighttime bed stories.
Mug off camera. It's hard. It's like a monkey.
He'll go out.
He's a good boy. My favorite movie, I like True Story with Jonah Hill and Franco. James Franco, criminally underrated, Ronnie.
You're a giant James Franco fan, but it seems like he's, he gets a lot of work. His life is pretty good.
You know what he said in an interview that I saw? He goes, people say I've ruined the Oscars. I'm like, how do you ruin the Oscars? My job was to stand there and say, coming up next, a woman that looks great in lame and flambe. Please, like, how do they ruin that? Like, how do they ruin that? I was like, he's got a good point.
Yeah, it was just fun to beat up on them that night. That's all it was. You know, it
Ronnie
was.
B,
Yeah.
next time I'm in New York, I'm going to have a big box of cigars. And you know what's going to be in that box? You know who's going to hand deliver those cigars for you?
Who's that?
A 16-year-old Cuban shortstop. I'm going to say, here's a Cuban who's Cuban.
That'd be great. Dude, when
and
are
he's
you
gonna say,
coming back to New York?
Ronnie.
Yeah.
Or whatever he was saying.
When are you coming back east?
I don't have any plans, but when I do, you'll be the first to know. Pepper gave me your cell. Do you text at all?
Yeah, sure. I'll text with you.
All right. My man, I love you. It was, you know what, my love? I don't know the gal's name at all.
This is Gail. This is my daughter.
Oh, my God. Steve, I raised my voice at a Bennington.
That's okay. You know what?
Gail?
She's making her bones.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want you to make your bones.
Thank you.
You know what? Nobody in the Bennington family gets spoken to that way.
Well, spank yourself.
Nobody.
Have Nikki spank you later, like you guys always do.
A time machine.
Yeah.
But I didn't know you were La Familia, La Frontera, Cotoya Mañana. I didn't know that was all going on. That's a made man. Oh, no, like Billy Bats. Wait, give me it fucking fresh.
See, Jay got killed for that and a couple of other things that happened. All right, Jay, talk to you later, buddy.
See you, buddy. Thank you, guys.
Peace.
Peace.
He's tough to get a word in. He's the funniest. He's the funniest. See what happened? Chris always gets quiet. I tried to bring you in a little bit. What's the trailer up for the Pee Wee movie?
New trailer for the Pee Wee movie's up.
Yeah, that's what I just fucking said to you. Is that any good? Did you watch it yet?
I have not watched it yet. No, it just went up.
Well, we never even talked about the other thing before we get to that. The aunt came back from the Prince of Bel-Air and attacked Jada Smith and attacked Will Smith.
Yeah.
And it goes on and on and on.
Yeah, and her attack gets pretty personal, but it's kind of interesting because she's saying when it works for you guys would be there. Like if he was nominated, if he was the only black person,
he'd be there.
He would be there. Of course he would be there, and they would be excited, and she would be supportive.
I never watched the Will Smith show, the Prince of
Fresh
Bel-Air.
Prince. Yeah.
Was it a good show? Was she a big part of it?
She was a big part of it. Yeah, I mean,
she was, and she's the one that got fired and replaced, right? Because they replaced the mother.
Yeah, I think.
Oh, she was the mother?
Yeah, she was the mother on the show.
Well, she's his aunt.
Said he was the aunt.
Yeah,
I guess she took care of him. Whatever she acted as his mother.
Because he was, West Philadelphia born and raised, and then he was sent to.
What happened? Did some shitbag happen? Something happened in Philly?
There's a couple of guys.
They were up to no good.
Yeah, they started making trouble in the neighborhood.
He got in one little fight.
And his mom got scared.
He said, "You moving with your uncle and your auntie in Bel-Air."
And that's how he ended up out there?
Mm-hmm.
Well, at first he whistled for a cab, and when it came near the license plate suppression, there was a dice in the mirror.
Wait.
I don't know why he wanted to bring it up, but it was very specific to him.
Now, so he took a cab from Philly, and I'm going to imagine West Philly.
Yes.
All the way to Bel-Air?
No, he picked him up at the airport, I think.
Yeah, but he rolled up to the house around 7 or 8, and he yelled to the cabbie,
"You're home, smell you later."
Yeah.
Now, did he become such good friends with the cabbie that they were going to hook up again later?
No, you never see him again. I mean, you'll see him at the beginning of every episode for some reason.
Right.
Wait, was the cabbie DJ Jazzy Jeff?
No.
That's DJ Jazzy Jeff. He left behind in Philly.
Yeah.
DJ Jazzy Jeff, you could argue the fact that his parents didn't love him as much.
Oh, no.
Or he didn't have the options to send them to a rich family in Bel-Air.
I mean, that Bel-Air family had plenty of room. They had plenty of bedrooms.
You know what? If fucking Jada Smith comes out and talks about black people have been mishandled, DJ Jazzy Jeff should be the first fucking person. Because he should have been there.
I mean, summertime.
I think they both should have fucking moved to Bel-Air. Saying to his mom, I get it, but there's no way I can leave behind DJ Jazzy Jeff.
Doesn't he show up at some point?
Oh, he shows up a couple of times.
Yeah, he throws him a couple $100.
I mean, get him out of the fucking hood, man. Come on. Get him out of that trap, as they say today. But yeah, I think this Aunt Viv has had a beef with Will Smith for years. Because apparently he got her fired from the show and they replaced her on the show with another actress.
But her big point is that when the cast of the show said, hey, this show is really taking off, we would like to negotiate for more money for the cast, and we would like your support when we go in and talk, because they know Will Smith's getting taken care of, but everybody else want a little bump. And then her problem is that he said, your deal's your deal and my deal's my deal, and would not stick up for the cast.
All right,
of
but
Fresh
let me
Prince.
just, I'm going to, stick up for Will there. It ain't like they're the friends. You know what I mean?
It's Will Smith's show.
Yeah.
He is the Fresh Prince.
No one gave a shit who the aunt and uncle were or that other nerd kid.
Carlton.
I guess I did see more about
Yeah,
I seem like I know at least as much as you guys.
And then there was the butler, Jarvis.
Now I'm back there. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I can't remember his name.
It's time to jump around. Here's Jeffrey Gurian. Jeffrey.
How are you, man?
Well, first of all, Jeffrey, you are in the middle of it's not just a comedy scoop, but maybe the greatest rock and roll scoop of all time. I've seen some other people have picked up this story, also name-checking Jeffrey Gurian. It was Andrew Dice Clay himself that brought Guns N' Roses together.
Isn't that a cool thing, man? Isn't that amazing?
Now, tell us how you found out and how the Dice Men, and it's up on the iBang, but I want to hear it from the horse's mouth. How did this all come down?
It's so funny that I never considered myself like a horse. But it's definitely from the horse's mouth. I'm sleeping, right? It's a 2:45.
You're standing up, I guess. That's how horses sleep.
Absolutely. That's how I sleep, so I don't mess up my hair. The phone rings, and it's Dice, man. And he's in L.A., of course, and he likes to call late. And I never care because it's always an interesting conversation to talk to Dice, And he was at the recording studio with his kids, Max and Dylan. They have this band called Still Rebel. And they were recording songs. And while they were recording, he was hanging out outside and decided to call and say, what's up, Well, first he woke me up by saying something like, get well quick, fuckface. And that took me by surprise, but that's nice. And then he started telling me this amazing story about how he was influential in getting GNR back together again. And he told me, he happened to be in Australia, and Slash was staying in the same hotel. So he runs into Slash, and he's telling him about how their fans are so loyal that they would love for them to get back together again. And he kind of planted the seed.
That's it. That's what it took. It took the Dice Men to do this.
Wow.
Well, it's so cool. I mean, he's a big GNR fan.
Sure.
And
who is it?
And happens to know them all. I mean, that's the thing. A lot of people are fans, but you don't get a chance to run into them.
Look, this is what it takes. It takes a Machiavellian to just whisper into the king's ear and get him to do something. And that's what Dice has pulled off. Dice
I mean,
brought GNR back together.
I can't believe that.
Dice is the guy, huh?
Okay, now you guys are on board. I'm loving it. What else is going on with you, Jeffrey?
Well, I just wanted to say, and then he's in Vegas and runs into Axl. And
Wait, Las Vegas?
Show for Axl. Las Vegas.
Okay, that makes sense.
As opposed to what kind of Vegas?
I
Vegas
just call it
nerve,
Vegas, baby.
Yeah. So then he runs into Axl, right? And then Axl has him open the show for him, completely, unplanned. And then he said Axl does 3 hours, and he tells him also, think about getting back together. Then he runs into Duff McKagan. And then he tells their road manager, he says he's friends with their road manager for 27 years, this guy Tom Mayhew. So he told him, he goes, get Slash to tweet something nice about Axl, and I'm sure we can bring them together. And he tweeted something nice for Axl's birthday, and the rest is history. Hopefully they're going to be together at Coachella.
Would you say it's history or her story?
History, because I'm not politically correct anymore.
Here's the thing that I would love to see them do. I would love to see Guns N' Roses write a song like "Thank You, Dice, you got us back together," or this all worked out, Dice, or we're having a Dice day. You know what I mean? Or a Dice Clay.
Sure.
Yeah.
But you know what? He's so perfect to open the show for them. Not many comics could do that because the audience would tear them apart.
Well, I don't, I got to be honest. If I go to Guns N' Roses, I don't want to see anyone open. You know what I mean? I would
Guns
just
N' Roses, a little break. Back to Guns N' Roses.
Why are we breaking? We're all here.
They need to just get a little something to snack on in between.
Snack while you're playing. I have no problem.
But I think that's amazing that he had this influence to go to each individual one, and then what did they all discuss and say? Hey, have you been talking to Dice?
But it's just like when you're hypnotized. You might think it's your idea, but that's the Dice Man. The voice that you hear inside. That's a Dice Man. Hickory dickory dock.
They can't sleep. That's all they're thinking. Dice wants us to get back together.
Isn't that amazing?
Imagine that conversation. You've been talking to Dice too, huh?
Just a little Dice Clay.
I hope they dedicate something to him.
Well, I tell you, I can't wait for vinyl to come out February 14th. It debuts. That's going to be a crazy show, man.
Yeah, it's going to be, well, there's a couple of things. For some reason, there's this love affair with the 70s now. I think it's because the last time people felt somewhat free on this, we live in this dystopian planet called Earth.
It was an exciting time, man. The 70s were exciting, coming out of the 60s.
Sure, we had Happy Days.
Oh, yeah. You had everything.
Shirley.
There was a lot of good bands, and it was an exciting time, and I think vinyl is going to capture that. Bobby Cannavale is just so good, man.
I wonder.
He's so good.
Wait, did you see? Have you seen any of the vinyl yet?
No.
Okay.
No. Have you seen? I didn't realize that there was anything to see. Have they been showing trailers?
They're not. Yeah, they've showed trailers, but normally they'll let a couple of people, such as yourself, take a gander at it before they put it out.
I've been trying to hook it up. No, I haven't seen anything yet. I'm just anxiously looking forward, and I'm going to start so many people have told me that I should be on vinyl that I want to start a campaign to get me on vinyl.
Well, what did they?
Everybody
Why are
thinks
they
I'm in the music business?
Who is saying that to you?
A lot of people, even people, even in the industry.
Tell Dice to get into Jagger's ear, and here could be a thing like. Let's suppose it's the 70s, right? And what would you say was the biggest the biggest album being made in the 70s?
The biggest what?
The biggest album. If you were going to pick a 70s album, a classic album.
I don't know stuff like that.
I know, but I'm sitting here with two other people who should be working there, really embarrassed. All right, so you say Zeppelin. So you're making Zeppelin 4, and all of a sudden there's a guy, he comes in, he's like, hey... Is this too much tuna? I think it's just enough. And boom, you got a fucking TV show that everybody's talking about the next day.
See the tuna scene in the Zeppelin?
Yeah, it'd be fucking fantastic.
Was Cream in the 70s?
Well, maybe the very early 70s.
Well, like late 60s, early 70s?
Yeah, I think they were right there to turn. You see Joey Jojo's moving. See, if I had Vito, he'd have been on this by now. But Cream is your favorite band?
No, I was thinking of my old albums. I still have so much vinyl.
Dude, your fucking favorite band should be Hot Tuna from that
era. God, perfect.
I never even thought of that. Yeah.
69.
I used to like Frank Zappa, The Mothers of Invention.
Yeah, they're great.
Remember who were the Brain Police?
Yeah.
That was crazy shit. When that came out, there was never anything like that before.
And never anything like it since, Jeffrey. Now, you're involved in something. This band, of course, was out in the 70s. Jackson 5, Little Michael Jackson, the greatest fucking soul star in the history of the world.
Baby Michael.
You're doing something right now about the work of Little Michael Jackson. What is it, Jeffrey?
Yeah, isn't that crazy? My friend Joe Bratt is an unbelievable guy. Right now he's an interventionist. He was a private detective, an actor who was on many reality shows. He won $200,000 on Don't Forget the Lyrics with Wayne Brady. That's a whole crazy story. But he is the sole owner of the largest collection of Michael Jackson drawings.
I didn't even know that Michael drew.
Most people didn't. They just knew him as the king of pop. But
so he's like sketch?
An artist.
Yeah, he's a sketch artist.
And he drew like surrealistic shit, man, like Salvador Dali kind of stuff. Like really crazy stuff. And Joe started collecting. He started buying them. He found two on eBay, and he tracked them down to a woman in Mexico who had gotten them from someone at Sony. And he started collecting, and now he owns over 100 of them. And they could be worth anywhere from $50 to $100 million. because someone else sold 86 of them for $87 million. So what he wants to do, he wants to build a rehab facility for kids at risk, because he started an intervention company a few years ago, and he saves people's lives. He's amazing. He goes all across the country, and he does interventions, and nobody says no to Joe, because he's a building with clothing.
Could we get Chris Stanley as part of that intervention one day?
One of the kids in
Chris
need?
Stanley?
Yeah.
Yeah, we could get Chris Stanley. And
when he builds this center, I want Chris to move in there permanently.
Drunken residents.
Even just as the janitor or something, to clean up.
We'll have the Chris Stanley wing. So, Joe calls me his consigliere, his Jewish consigliere, because he doesn't make a move without me. So I'm going to Florida with him because he's got some meetings with some heavyweight people who want to buy this thing, and he wants my opinion. He wants me to be there.
Well, you do know a lot about art.
Yeah, I know a lot about art. I know a lot about people. He just trusts me. He just trusts me. We have a really interesting bond for a long time, for many years, and we have a very close relationship. And so that was so cool. So it came out on page 6 yesterday, and it's all over the internet that he's selling these drawings. And there are pictures of them. Actually, I'll send you some. And he's just an amazing guy. He's doing God's work, and I think that's why all this stuff is working out for him, because he's on a mission to really save people, and he takes it very seriously.
I would say this. Most of the stuff that Michael Jackson painted here, he moonwalk painted. So you'll notice that the brush starts strong and then moves slowly
trails
away.
off backwards.
Moves backwards. He was moonwalking. That's the rumor, that he was moonwalking while he drew them. I don't know if that's true or not.
Is he drawing his one glittery glove there?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
So I'm
actually, if somebody besides him would have painted him like that, I would have said racist.
Did you see some of the drawings? They're very bizarre.
Yeah.
Very bizarre. Some psychiatrists actually analyzed them. I don't remember what they said, but just that he was under a lot of stress.
Insane?
Yeah, probably.
This man is
Very
insane.
normal. It's like you don't even want those images in your mind. You know what I'm saying? Like anybody who would draw that,
is crazy.
A lot of stress. Yeah, they're very bizarre. No one looks human. They're all very strange. But look, Salvador Dali did pretty good.
I don't know if he did or not. I never heard of him once he left Spain.
I'm not aware of his work.
What part of Florida are you going to, Jeffrey?
Boca. And
Okay.
then Miami.
So you're on the wrong side. If you were, I know that you love Salvador Dali. If you were on the other side in St. Petersburg, there's the Salvador Dali Museum with nothing but his paintings.
Really? You know, I saw it. I was going to say, I went to Philadelphia one time. I drove down to see the Salvador Dali exhibit. Yeah, he was a one of a kind. There was something about him. I really don't know a lot about art. I know Peter Max, because I have his stuff, and he's an old friend of mine, and I always loved his stuff because it was happy, and, you know, the Beatles used his stuff, and, you know, he painted an airplane. Did you know that about Peter Max?
Mm-hmm.
He actually painted a whole airplane. And peace, love, flowers, the whole thing. He was the '60s artist, you know, and I just lost my train of thought. What were you talking
that's
about?
right. You know, you were saying goodbye to us. But it's good to talk to you. Best of luck with all this, Jeffrey. We'll talk to you soon.
I'll call you from Florida because listen, I'll be covering the comedy scene in Florida while I'm down there.
Great. All right.
So I'll let you know what's happening.
Okay. Talk to you later.
Thanks, man. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Bye, Jeffrey.
What was that weirdness?
Do you miss
You
him?
didn't say anything the whole time.
Bye,
And then you
Jeffrey.
did a very gay bye, Jeffrey.
Bye,
Jeffrey.
Bye, Jeffrey.
What did that mean?
I just want to I want to let him know that, you know, I care about him and that wish him the best.
You do?
Going down to Florida. Love Jeffrey.
John in Arizona.
Bye, Jeffrey.
Hey, Ronnie V. Hey, you know, we got rockers dying all over the place, and now Eddie Trunk is out of a job. What the fuck is going on?
What are you
Ron?
talking about?
What?
They're saying VH1 canceled that metal show.
Oh,
No!
kidding me?
Fuck!
Nope, it was on Facebook. And
You know what I was just thinking, that this would be perfect because those guys could have Dice on to discuss the GNR thing.
Yeah.
Now, what else is fucking...
What's the point? What are they doing otherwise?
They have nothing on there,
nothing
but...
else.
They are the fucking channel.
Well, we just said that, Chris. Could you please bring something new to the fucking thing other than goodbye, Jeffrey?
Bye.
What is with you, dude?
Sweet Jeffrey.
Sweet Jeffrey.
Man, that really bums me out.
Does it harsh your buzz?
It does. Harshes my mellow. I was so mellow before, and now it's all harshed up.
I've never been mellow. Is it a good feeling or bad? Doesn't seem like it would be good.
Hey, I'm real mellow right now. So mellow.
You know, some kids tried to call me Mellow Yellow, and I just started swinging at them. But I don't know if they meant it the bad way.
They deserved it.
The principal, this is when I was a child, he says, "What's wrong?" And I said, "They called me Mellow Yellow." That's right, Slick.
What's that?
That's fucked.
That's really shitty.
That's shit on a stick.
Yeah. It's actually like feces on a stick.
Let's try to find out if Trunk and Jameson and Florentine. All right, they did. Of course, we very much wanted to keep that metal show alive. And with the blessing of VH1 Classic, we've got the keys to the show and are currently searching for a new home. We're not sure where we'll land, but we hope to be back in the studio in your living room as soon as possible. In the meantime, keep an eye on us on the road and come say hello. Thank you for watching all these years. We'll keep you posted as soon as we have some news to share. All right, so they say they're going to go out and find another home for it. Let me just tell you something. If in the world of hard rock and metal, right, no one has the connections of Eddie Trunk. I've known Eddie since probably the year 2000. And he was only doing like a Saturday night show. And he would have Gene Simmons pop in and Iron Maiden would pop in. It was fucking crazy, the guests that this kid could get. Because he took that music that most people don't take seriously.
Right.
Serious. And he's done an unbelievable job with it. And then, of course, he was smart enough to use Florentine and Jameson. And so now, you know, they came up with something that, yes, it's kind of cool and educational, but it's also incredibly funny. So you'd be mad. You know, I don't know who else does music out there. I know they're the one that runs all the concerts. It's not Fuse, it's the other one.
Live Nation?
Not Live Nation. Does
Palladium?
Palladium, that's it.
Yeah. Does Fuse have music shows, though?
I don't know if they do anymore. I don't know what happens with those assholes. But those guys, I remember when my appendix burst. I'm not going to make a big deal out of this. The doctor said to me, "You've got seconds to live." And I said, "I'm not Glenn Frey. Let's fucking fix this." And they said, "What are you talking about?" I go, "Don't worry, I'm a time traveler." Both things tend to be right. But I'm in the next day and I'm just in immense pain because I refuse to take the drugs because I know I would turn into a drug addict. And I just watched that metal show. You know, of course it was a marathon on VH1 because that's what they always do. I watched like 7 or 8 of them. I would just try to keep making it from one to the next. Not one person in my family visited, by the way.
I did, and I'm in your family.
It must have been the pain. I couldn't remember.
Yes, I was there.
Well, okay. You say you were there, you were there.
I was.
Thanks. Means a lot to me.
You're welcome.
I wish I would have remembered.
Yeah, me too.
But anyway, let's make this not about you and about that metal show.
Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. I did distract from the...
Yeah.
It's about them. And I know that they'll find a new home.
By the way, Jay keeps texting me and apologizing. Thanks for giving her my fucking number.
Is that
What's the
your
whole
number?
point of having a a producer if my number can just be, given out willy-nilly.
I gotta set up like a burner phone to give out a number to.
I like that idea. But every time that we fucking call somebody, we break the phone right after. We're going to have to with your debts.
Oh, yeah. I gotta change my phone number. This is bad. Email address has gotta go.
Oh, boy. Chris.
But that is if this weekend doesn't work out. Then we can worry about that.
You have a good feeling about it?
I honestly do.
He always has a good feeling about everything coming up.
I already know. I know my picks. I'm not giving them out now, but I feel really good about both of them.
Your ass better start betting tennis. Because that's the fucking... It came out that tennis has been crooked. But I didn't like the way that they put this news out. Because they didn't really accuse any person. They just acted like the game's dirty. And now these fucking tennis players have to each, one by one, go, not me.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you got to name names.
Yeah.
Now everyone's under the microscope. That's not fair.
But apparently there's massive, massive bribes going around. It's like guys who've won they say who've won Grand Slam.
Here's the word you use perfectly, though. Apparently. Because if you can't prove it, if you don't fucking say, here's the person, here's where it's happening. But to say guys who have won Grand Slams, now we think, oh, who's won a Grand Slam? And we naturally think they're guilty.
It's Nadal's taking money.
See, that's bullshit. I don't believe anything until you come up and say, here's the proof.
You always say innocent until proven guilty. That's what you say.
I said even when proven guilty, I still think there's an innocence in everybody.
Yeah.
I think even El Chapo probably was a cute baby.
God, yes.
Speaking of which, did you just see fucking Charlie Rose put the fucking boots to Sean Penn?
Just beat the shit out of him.
For what? Like, why would you go down there? Why wouldn't anyone go down? Anyone who does a podcast would try to get a big guest like El Chapo.
It's a booking.
Yeah.
It's not his fault.
Charlie, he hated Sean Penn.
Doesn't make him El Chapo.
And it made me not like Charlie Rose. Because guess what? Charlie Rose would have taken that fucking interview. And we should be hearing from everybody. You know what I mean? It just shouldn't be, the Mexican government says this guy did something. I don't know.
It's really weird to work in media that way and act as though you have a responsibility to not give a voice to the other side, to any side.
I don't know what Charlie Rose's point was other than saying that he wasn't a journalist. People become journalists just by doing it. It seems there's no fucking journalist license that you have to get.
And that's what's great about it, right? I mean, it's what essentially is supposed to be great about journalism is that you get the voice of somebody who just is looking out for truth. Not, they're a professional.
I turned this into the government and they said it's fine. I thought Charlie Rose came off looking like a fucking dick that day.
Because he wouldn't bring up. I think one of his big points was because Sean Penn didn't bring up like drug policy. That was one thing that he was laughing in Sean Penn's face, like being.
Well, look, can I tell you? I read the Rolling Stone thing. It wasn't well written. It was kind of loopy.
Yeah.
Whatever. But he was basically saying, "What gives you the right to go and get this guy?" If he wanted to break it down and say, "You did a good interview," you did a bad interview. Go run to most of the fucking newspapers in the world.
Yeah.
I read a lot of things going, I can't believe an adult wrote this for this magazine.
Yeah, so what? So he mentioned that he farted in front of El Chapo. Was it weird? Yeah, it was weird.
When it got down to the questions, they were very short questions, and he was more enamored with how he got there. And, it wasn't great. But does he have a right to talk to El Chapo? Why not? Why wouldn't anybody?
We'll have El Chapo on right now.
Yeah, and the way to interview somebody is not to spend time screaming at them that they're wrong. It's trying to find out how they think. It's not about, oh, by the way, I'm glad you're here. This is how I think. You know what I mean? That's not fucking welcoming somebody into your life. You try to figure out how they think and why they got to the point that they did. Now, some of the things that El Chapo said, if he's gone tomorrow, nothing changes. I agree with 100%. The war on drugs has been around my whole life. It don't work. I don't know why we act like it does. It doesn't. I thought one of the best things that was in that is El Chapo said I never had to advertise in my life. I never had to say, hey, try cocaine, try marijuana, try methamphetamine. Just people want drugs. They do. There's a large portion of people who want drugs, whether or not you have it. There's a lot of people that will pay for prostitution, whether it's legal or not. There's a lot of people who pay for gambling. It used to be a giant thing that if you gambled, you could be arrested, and the people that you were gambling with could be arrested. And now it's a weekend getaway.
Why do you think that the war on drugs was never successful? For example, just even if you're just talking about educating, you're not even talking about policy or anything like that, just educating people on drugs. Why do you think that it's not successful when even smoking, like we've seen that be taken down much in my lifetime, that smokers have been cut down? Why do you think it never really worked for drugs?
Well, the war on drugs, first of all, you have less people doing heroin than smoking.
You're right.
You have less people doing meth than drinking and smoking. So, it depends on what you want to do with the data. It's always about the same percentage of people who've ever wanted to do stuff. The thought of re-educating those people, I brought it up with Chris Stanley. I mean, here's a guy who passed out, slapped his head, woke up in the hospital, ran out of the hospital. That isn't his bottom, right? Mm-mm. It's very difficult to say to a person like that, you have a problem, until they think they have a problem. Now, if it happened to Joe, maybe Joe would be like, fuck, I can't live my life this way. This is embarrassing, But it doesn't mean that Chris is going to find that same bottom. Chris is willing to lie to himself,
Yeah.
While we're, bragging about less people smoking, there's more people with diabetes because food tastes good and it feels good to eat very quickly. And, to have carbs and sugars in your body. We like it. People who do heroin like the way it makes them feel. People who smoke weed like the way it makes them feel. People who drink likes the way it makes them feel. Reality is a strange thing, right? Some people would rather not being in this reality. I remember when I used to drink and do drugs, I'd never turned down. Never. Not one thing did I ever turn down until I finally quit. Did I ever say, you know what? It's late. It's a Thursday night. I got to get up in the morning. No, that never occurred to me at the time. I don't think I'm a stupid person, but that's the way my thinking was working at the time, that anything feels better than reality.
So there's probably no way to combat that on a larger scale because it's so involved with being an individual.
Have we ever tried to do it on a larger scale? The fact of the matter is, saying don't take drugs or drugs are bad only reaffirms the people who already agree with you, right?
Right.
Doesn't mean shit to each person. Most people, like Chris Stanley, may find a spot where they're ready to quit. And the reality is, if you really want to help people, you're there when he wants to quit. That's it. That annoys the shit out of people. But if we put the money into rehabs instead of shooting up the Mexicans. Also, you look at El Chapo. You're going to tell a guy, hey, you can fucking buy these drugs and make money and sell these drugs, and you're never even going to see the people that they supposedly hurt. That could be said about industry since the beginning of time.
Yeah.
The industry since the beginning of time.
And they do try to use that as a deterrent to people who are buying drugs. Like, think of like the lives that have been affected by the time that you receive your product. How many lives have been affected negatively? But you could say that about any product. And we purposefully don't think about stuff like that. Like, we purposely.
Everybody loves their iPhone, and you don't sit around going,
"Yep,
the little Chinese kids put this together." People act like there's glamour in fashion, and all you need to do is go 2 steps back and see there's the exact opposite of glamour in fashion. Children with their tiny little fingers are sewing this for 8 cents a day. We've been shown it. We don't give a fuck. You'd rather hear somebody say, "Nice jacket." Nice fucking jacket, my man.
Thank you.
So the reality of it is we aren't ready to face this so-called war on drugs. We never have been. By the way, there's a lot of money in the war on drugs business. And, we arm police militias with that war on drugs money. And they want to keep money coming in locally like that. This country doesn't like a problem that can't be solved in seconds, or at least some bumper sticker thing that can't be solved in seconds. That's why fucking Trump is doing great, because he says make America great again without defining once when this greatness happened.
Yeah.
When was it so fucking great?
It's up to you. Whatever is great in your mind, that's
when
keeping
did you
it vague.
first hear that America was great, and not only great, the greatest country?
I was told that in school as a very small child.
So was I. So was Joe on the other side of the country. So was Hicks. There's that dude walking around that I just asked you who he was.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to have him to find out because I saw him walking
Was it
around
the guy who ran? Was that the pizza guy who ran 4 years ago?
It might be. It's kind of familiar looking.
You know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
What was the pizza guy who was the front running Republican 4 years ago?
Herman Cain.
Was that him? Look at pictures of him. I just see him downstairs. I say to Chris, why do I know that dude? And he's like, I don't know. Is that Ben Carson? I go, no, it definitely isn't. Could that be the guy that just walked past us?
Find it out.
Man, I forgot. How did I forget about Herman Cain?
He was leading at one point. That's what always happens. I heard. Did you guys watch?
It's Herman Cain. Look at it's the same hat.
Stop screaming, dude.
Relax. It's okay. He's inside the building.
It's a lot bigger than I thought it would be.
He isn't that big. He's like 5'6".
You must have thought he was really small.
You thought it was Ronnie Lott. But
Remember that slow Herman Cain smile?
So Herman Cain was drawing those huge crowds. We just walked into our place today. I'm like, who's this? Nobody was stopping him on the street. That's where that kind of political fame will get you. So I'm watching this TV show, The Circus, which is following all the political stuff. It just came on last night. Showtime's doing it. It'll make you embarrassed to be an American when you see the nutty stuff. I mean, people hate the candidates and think that they're creeps. The audiences that show up for this, that demand that these guys kiss babies and flip pancakes, it's ridiculous. But at no point, there are names, someone brought up, like, I think it was Dick Gebhardt, and I'm like, holy shit, I forgot that dude's name. And he was a big, like, 8 years ago, one of those guys that was in it right up to the last.
Really?
Yeah. It's one of those guys that was in, like, the top 3. Well, the guy who comes in here and we were always seeing do stuff, he was the senator.
Bradley?
New York, Nick. He was right there with Bill Clinton. It was going to be him or Bill Clinton. And
yeah, there's so many of those guys. Like Howard Dean is one of those guys where, like, remember, it was just like all about Howard Dean.
Gigantic. Yeah.
And then we decided he's an idiot and we threw him out. And now
one sound clip.
Yeah.
That's it. Done.
That was it.
You know, the last time with the Republicans 4 years ago, about 8 different people, with Herman Cain being one of them, were leading the pack at one time. 8 different guys. And now we don't remember who did it at any time. Herman Cain can go in and have a steak later, and people will be like, I think I went to fucking high school with that dude.
Remember if he was wearing that hat back then, but
I think he was.
Maybe he's doing that in honor of Glenn Frey.
Huh.
What came out as a BuzzFeed BBC report? Oh, that's that tennis story.
Yeah, the tennis story. Yeah, they were the ones who like broke it or whatever.
What did BuzzFeed do? 11 people we think are probably taking money.
What kind of gambler are you? Degenerate.
Slot Granny. I got Slot Granny.
Which Happy Days character are you? Do you like wearing a leather jacket? Yeah.
That's my favorite. Is like you take with those quizzes and you're like, I know who I want to be, and it's clear what I have to pick to say that I'm them.
I've actually done it where I'm like, I'm going to just say that I say A because I don't want to be Potsy. A couple of stories up on the iBank today, big comedy stories. Jackie Coogan. I'm sorry, I gotta hit this. Steve Coogan and John C. Reilly are cast as Laurel and Hardy. It's kind of interesting casting.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense, right?
I would have really liked to see Gervais in that role. At one time, Dick Van Dyke would only do Stan Laurel. All the time. So that would have been perfect. But I definitely want to see this movie. Steve Coogan is always one of those guys I think he's going to become massive in America, and it never quite happens.
Yeah, he hasn't really hit that.
Although he works, but
totally. And he's known, but he's not the kind of household name that he could be in the U.S.
And apparently he is in England. And then there's John C. Reilly, who can pretty much do anything.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. He'll kill it.
And let's see there's also another piece about right next to the dice, there's a Sam Kinison story that they're planning out, his brother, with Comedy Dynamics, putting out a huge collection, including the brother Sam, which I don't think has been released yet, right? That documentary about Sam?
No, that doc hasn't come out yet, no.
It's really interesting to me that Kinison isn't as well remembered as you would have thought he would be at this time, because he was a massively big act.
Yeah.
At one point.
He, you're right. Like, he definitely seems like the kind of dude he should be talked about when people talk about best
the greatest
comics
of all time.
Yeah, his name doesn't come up that way. It's weird.
Maybe this will do it. Comedy Dynamics is putting out apparently just a giant collection of all kinds of stuff on him together. But there's a biopic on him with Josh Gad to do it. It doesn't seem like a slam dunk to me that it would be Josh Gad, because I don't know, but he is a really good actor.
Yeah, he is.
I get that the first thing that you want to do is stocky before anything else. But
what are our options?
They just don't seem like the same kind of guys. So you got to hope that Gad is able to channel, and he really is. He's really a terrific actor.
Yeah, he is. But you would have to have such a force behind you. Like, you really have to have a lot of power for that, I think.
Well, also a specific kind of power. It was a weird kind of hip Texan, but also Jesus was in there in a big way.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that Sam, and a lot of Christians might disagree with me, but I don't think he had ever dumped out of his Christianity. I just
You don't think he did?
No.
Because that preacher style that he had was
amazing.
It's phenomenal. And you could see how exciting that would be to be in the audience for.
Here's Jason in Atlanta.
Hey, Ron, what's up, man?
Hey.
I was wondering if you've seen or had a chance to watch Making a Murderer yet on Netflix.
No, a lot of people brought it up to me. Then a lot of people, here's what happened. Everyone said, you got to see it. Followed by a wave of people who are going, don't bother seeing it.
Yeah.
So I normally, if someone could say the most they could tell me a negative thing about anything. If someone had said, don't listen to the Beatles, I wouldn't have. I don't want to have a bad experience.
I don't want to do that.
But did you tried and gave up on it, Chris?
I watched it. It's 10 hours long.
You're screaming about that.
But
can you not hear yourself?
It's not better than the Jinx. It's just sad. It's just a sad story. It just made me feel really bad.
Let me put it this way. It is basically, and I'm not one that's really into like Law and Order, murder mysteries or whatever, but this is literally as close to a real life Fargo situation as you could possibly get.
Fargo was based on a true story.
Well, this is literally it's amazing that they've captured this on film over the past 10 years, and it is like literally the best documentary or best documentary miniseries I've ever seen. I think it's definitely worth a watch. I think you'll love it.
I'm like 3 episodes into it. I'm moving slow with it, and I'm not sure how I feel just yet. But maybe that also has to do. I feel like you don't necessarily have to love the guy, but I'm very undecided about.
You think he's a creep either way?
Yeah, I'm like, and that doesn't mean that somebody should be guilty for a crime they didn't commit. Of course not. But
You're only on the side of the cool kids. Steve in Alabama.
Hey, Ron, I was listening to the greatest hit yesterday, and on one of the shows, you were saying how the last days of Vietnam was unbelievable. I watched it last night. You were right, man.
Well, here's the thing about that documentary, The Last Days of Vietnam. And actually, we had somebody come in and who was it? Oh, the guy from
Patrick
Fargo.
Wilson.
Yeah.
Basically said he based his whole thing on that.
Yeah.
But I felt like I knew the story of that. You know, like I had read about it. I felt like I knew, okay, when they got there, they started bringing people out to the naval ships and then they throwing the choppers into the water to make more room. But I had no idea what a powerful thing that was. And it was shocking to me to see American military men and CIA guys disobey orders and say to the government, fuck you, we're getting these people out. Because they were saying, do not take those people out. We have nowhere to put them. You know what I mean? Just like we're saying now with people, like, it's easy to say, oh, we don't want those people coming into our country until you're looking into their fucking eyes and their children's eyes. And those guys just basically went, fuck you, man. Yeah. We're bringing you.
That's exactly it. I mean, people who, we're over here watching the news about whatever, immigration, whatever, but we have no idea what's going on. You don't know.
You see that kind of pain in front of you. And for somebody who went to like West Point to be able to say, I'm disobeying an order.
Yeah.
And I'm bringing these people. The humanity of that is just stunning.
Exactly, because that's everything to do with their training is to follow orders and to carry them out as though it was something that they believed. It's not like disagreeing with your boss at any other job where you're like, yeah, but I think this might be better. It's phenomenal. And what you say about, it's quite another thing when you're looking in the eyes. That's why journalism is so important. It's like bridging that gap. And does it seem like it's getting, I don't know. I feel like even though with the internet, I feel like there's a bigger gap with journalism. Like you don't see faces and you're not connecting to things happening in other countries the way that they described that it was happening in the 60s with Vietnam, where, they were showing it on the news and people were really faced with it. I'm not so sure that happens now.
Well, there are a couple of different things that happen. We would all see one story then, not a million different stories. And that story is turning around to battle back. And so now let's suppose someone put out a really great piece on why we should let some of these people into the country. And you're watching it on TV and you're like, this is really moving. I think I agree with this. The following day, you would be hit with at least 10 pieces from the other side. Here's why we shouldn't. And then B, oh, by the way, the guy who did this story also had an affair and his kids were in the car while he fucked someone inside and he used to do coke back. And, they discredit people so quickly now.
Yeah.
So stories... There's less impact because there's more of the rebuttals that come up. You can see what goes on with just trying to be the president of the United States. The amount of things, any of these things get hit with 1 million people saying they're lying and they're wrong. No matter which guy it is. No matter if you're looking at the Democrats or the Republicans. And guess what? They haven't even started to attack the people at the top yet. When we come down, if it's Trump and Hillary or if it's Sanders and Cruz, the shit that we're going to hear about these people, it's going to be stunning.
Yeah.
So, to go back to your initial thing, there's more blowback today than there's ever been before. But sometimes and that's why this worked out. We needed the time. these film that was sitting around, guys on the boat had taken these. One guy had shot massive amounts of film and then never had the money to develop it. So it was sitting around in his closet until he was tracked down by this, the director who's, is it Kennedy? Is it Kathleen Kennedy?
Yeah, Kathleen Kennedy.
Are you sure she did our show? I want to give her the right name because there's so many of them. Those Kennedys, they just come out from everywhere. But the humanity in that...
Rory Kennedy.
Thank you. So you say yeah just because you agree with everything that I say. Instead of saying, let me check. This is why I need Vito here.
Yeah.
Take his keyboard away.
Yeah. He can't even have one for himself for his own purposes.
I let Vito do the gambling now, too.
Oh.
No.
Vito does the gambling, the drugs.
Yeah.
The
And he's our Periscope boy, too.
whoring around with women, the constant shitting in his hand and rubbing it on his hair.
That's gonna
that
be
all
you.
moves to Vito from this point on.
That's mine.
And Chris?
Yes.
You want to stop your gambling, stop your rambling, stop that drinking, stop that stinking.
The stinking's going to be hard to
Get
stop.
home to your wife and your children. That's where you belong. If I see you on the street, I'm going to kick you. Get your ass home. I'm not going to block you up. I'm going to kick you in the ass. Get your ass home. See, that's what it used to be like in Queens. That if a guy was out and he was partying too much, the fucking cop would just grab him, slap him with a belly club a couple of times and say, get your ass home to your wife and children. Now that guy would be, you know what I mean? We go through everything else. But that's how the community used to take care of itself.
Little slap.
Yeah, whatever.
Kids you in line.
It treats you like a brother, like your brother would treat you. Now you look at a guy like Chris Stanley. We can't put our hands on him, but his life's a fucking mess. Down to, I'm like Gail. I open up my emails and it's like, what can we do about Chris? What can we do about Chris? And I'll just write back to people. We're going to watch him die.
Oh my God. That's what you replied?
What else am I going to do? Tell me something else to do.
I'm not sure.
It's going to work out once
Here.
this football season's over.
You're signed up to go to how many meetings with me?
4.
Let's do it 4 in one day. And we do it while we're driving to a rehab facility.
Perfect. That's great.
Guess what?
Yeah.
Not only does the company here have to pay for it,
Yeah.
they pay you to be in there straightening your life out.
Yeah, I don't want to go to a rehab facility.
You said no.
No.
What happened to the girl who did say no? Where's she now?
Success, stardom,
And?
then ultimately death.
Because that's the only thing that matters. No one sits around going, wasn't it great? She had a couple hit songs. They're like, we don't have her anymore. And I know that you always say it's better to burn out than turn to rust. But your shit's fucking rusty, dude. You're burnt out and rusty at the same time.
I didn't think that could happen.
This rust is burning.
Thank you. That's what he is.
This
He's
is
burning
worst case scenario.
This fucking dude could call himself Rusty Burn Pants as his fucking slapstick name. Eric Snowden says he wants women to stop sending titty pictures.
Snowden. He's saying that he's got all these pictures being sent to him via Twitter, other things, and he's saying, please,
Instagram.
I implore you, please do not send me your breast any longer. 1, I'm spoken for. I got a lady. 2, the feds are looking at your titties.
Well, let's get to the bottom of this. Eric Snowden's gay, and he proved it by what he just said.
Like, why wouldn't you just like some free pornography?
Yeah,
basically?
delete if you're not in the fucking mood.
What the fuck is happening to Snowden? Did Russia turn him?
Whatever happened to him? See, there's a guy that no one ever paid attention to what he released. It's what kind of fella he turned out to be. There's a couple other things up on the iBank today that you definitely need to see. That's the panda putting the baby panda to bed.
Aww.
That'll make you go, oh, that old panda's so tired.
Aww.
There's also the words that you... Oh, so it's not we did put up the panda being put to bed, but this other terrible thing that...
This is so dumb.
It's idiotic, right?
This is the dumbest thing going.
Guess who sent it? Joe.
I could have guessed that in
now,
a second.
I've actually got corrected so I could somehow act like that thing is important. Now, Chris, are you struggling seeing the panda?
Yeah, I just see fucking
You know why?
zigs. Why?
Because you're not standing where Gail and I are.
It's
come
so
on.
clear.
If you're a couple of feet away, you just see a panda.
Come over here. Come all the way over here, Chris.
Oh, there it is.
It's ridiculous. And when I first saw it, I was on a small screen. It was very clear to me right away.
But don't you have to be, if you're right up next to it, it kind of comes and goes. But if you're standing back a couple of feet, it's just a fucking panda.
Yeah.
Now, Joe, why did you think anybody would care about this?
I wanted to see if people could spot the panda.
Yes.
There it is,
You know
right
what?
there. It takes
When I saw it, it was on a small screen, and I did the whole cross-eyed trick, so I was like, "Oh, I'm better than
a
everyone."
magic eye.
Not realizing that if you took a few steps back, it
You know
was
what?
that
Why don't
clear.
you put out a fucking picture of Chris Stanley and say, find the alcoholic? Because he's going to be right there.
It's right there. I see it.
Oh, God, look who's up to help with the Oscar diversity. It's our friend Chuck Nice.
All right.
Chuck's like this. What I'd like to see them do, he'll do any show they send him in for, and he's coming in hard. He's coming in heavy, blasting. Love Chuck. But why would he know? Why would he have an opinion on whether there's enough black people? Why would they have to call Chuck in? Because he's black? We have a black man here right now.
President Black Man.
This is what was said by Chris Rock. It's a white industry, just as the NBA is a black industry. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. First of all, the NBA is not a black industry, Chris Rock, because it's run by white people with black people making temporary money. But the industry part of it belongs to white people.
Yeah.
So you're not exactly. There's Chuck.
We write jokes. Right. And so what you do is you write jokes about this situation that brings awareness to it, and it also answers the situation.
And comedians don't care who they offend. They
That's
don't care
right.
about political correctness, and I don't think Chris Rock does that. But again, when you said, are other people going to boycott because, as Mickey said, they're concerned about money. People at home who, criticize the people at the Oscars or the people who are on the air, even us sometimes, they don't have anything to lose because they don't have a mortgage to pay as well. And they don't know the inside of the industry and what pressures other people are dealing with and what they're doing behind the
Hold on.
scenes to fight for.
How does he feel that the people who sitting at home watching the Oscars don't have a mortgage to pay? I can guarantee you they do.
Mm-mm. They got locked up.
What does he think? Wealthy people who had homes left to them watch the Oscars?
This is only for the upper crust of society. Can understand this broadcast.
This fucking thing. Look, I'll give you one. Boycott the championship games this weekend.
Oh.
People are going to watch it because it's on TV, and they've always done it. People are going to watch the Oscars too. Now, last year they didn't even tell anyone not to watch, and they had fallen 18% because Doogie Howser was hosting it.
Oh, yes.
Somehow, if you say not to watch, you're going to get more.
I'm going to say
vice
this.
versa. Just ignore it.
Call Chuck Nice and tell him that I fucking boycotted last Oscars with Doogie Howser.
I'm back again.
Now I'm back because of Chris Rock. Chad, Portland. Chad.
Hey, I was calling you about Snowden. I don't think the guy's gay, and I don't think he's stupid. I think he's using reverse psychology. He wants more titty pictures, and so what do you tell stupid Americans to do? You tell them not to do something. What are they going to do? And on the Oscars,
okay,
I hope they do boycott the shit out of those things because my life is empty and I like to see drama.
Yeah, more drama than you're going to see at the theater. Anyone who wins an Oscar, let's just tweet, hates blacks.
Oh, look who hates blacks.
Black Oscars
Leo.
matter.
Leo hates blacks.
Leo must be so hurt. He's like, why is everyone trying to boycott the one that I might finally win?
What about
no one was watching, so it didn't count, Leo. Sorry.
The self-hating black host, Chris Rock, he's like, this is a big gig for me. And just because Will Smith didn't get nominated.
Yeah.
Here's what Chris's bit's going to be. Nice to see all these white faces here. And then the white people be laughing. Like, yeah. I love the fact that people fucking say that Hollywood is liberal. You look at the movies, they're misogynistic. They're basically anti-government. They're normally anti-black, highly fucking violent.
Oh, God, yeah.
How is that liberal? What the fuck? That's just straight, pure capitalism.
Oh, the libs love their entertainment, don't
Stupid
they?
libtards in their fancy movies.
But seriously, would you look even at Quentin and go, oh, what a liberal man that he is?
Yeah, it's strange that that's the title they've given him now.
But they do that with everybody in Hollywood. What's so fucking liberal about anybody in Hollywood? Steven Spielberg. Maybe they give money to some liberal people, but they're not living their lives like liberal people at all. And who else is liberal? Hillary Clinton? Please.
Not really.
No. She'd fucking... I'm gonna hold back on that fucking joke because it was mean-spirited than funny. I'm gonna fucking shave it a little bit so it's just funny by the time I say it next.
And we got plenty of time.
Oh yeah, we got all kinds of time. Let's Bernie wins this thing.
Could that happen?
I don't know. Just see him running. I can't vote for a guy who runs like that. I mean, it's up on the iBank today. When you're done looking and trying to find the panda, try to find the nerd run. This is him at Penn Station. Look at this goofy run to calculus because Donald Trump will slap the books out of his hand if he sees him. What a lumbering run.
Now, I laughed when I saw this, but then today I had to run for a trade, and the first thing I thought is, how bad would this look if somebody was recording this right now? It never looks good to run for a train, because you can't really athletically, you can't really rip, so you're doing this, like, half gentle, like, I don't want to look crazy, but I want to make my train. It is an awkward run, no matter what. But, yeah, his big steps with those arms. Just in Mr. Burns' position.
I do kind of.
He's doing T-Rex arms.
Have you ever done the? I'm acting like I'm running because so the car won't beep and hit me. So you just.
Oh sure.
Kind of act like I'm speeding up.
A little bit of hustle,
but it's a lie.
You're still being a dick walking around the car.
You're just pumping your arms a little faster, but that's about it.
Just like, look at me, I'm heading fast.
I noticed that I know that I'm fucking you over.
I didn't see that it didn't say don't walk and I'm in the middle of the road. So, this will be exciting for you, Chris.
Good.
You know that you weren't very nice with Glenn Frey today.
No.
Earl Douglas is writing up kind of an obit for Glenn Frey. It's going to go up. I'm looking at it just post it, but the exciting thing is the very last line that Earl says, take it easy, Glenn.
Oh, jeez. Earl, then Carson Douglas.
That's nice, though. He's sensitive. He's sensitive, and Chris, you're
read
you're
the
cold.
first line to us, Chris.
Okay, Glenn Frey. The heart and soul of the Eagles passed away yesterday from complications, rheumatoid arthritis, acute ulcerative colitis, and pneumonia.
How can he have all those things happen?
That's a lot.
You know, we were going to have Glenn Frey come in here once. He had put out like a standards album. So one of the guys from booking comes to me and says, look, Glenn Frey might come in, but he refuses to talk about any of the Eagles songs. Any of his solo work, just this standards album. And I'm like, yeah, I'll still talk to him. He goes, seriously, you could stay with him? I go, yeah. What would be hard about fucking sitting around and talking to a guy in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Hey, why did you pick these songs? Where was there a non-rock and roll time in your life when you were young or post your time? Because a lot of times people fall into different things. I don't know why, when people run here like, I can't have them on my show. My audience will revolt. Why would they? You fucking voice tracking most of this shit as it is.
It's true.
But then, his life works out that way. He never came in anyway. Not that he needed to sell or push anything in his life. I can't begin to tell you how rich you probably were if you wrote those songs.
Yeah. It's probably insane, right? Like he's got to be up there as far as songwriters go.
Well, they always wrote the songs with other people. I mean, he wrote with Don, and then they would sometimes write with one or two other people, a lot of the hits. J.D. Souther, for one. Jackson Browne was on there. Who else? People we've had on the show before.
Jack Tempchlin? Jack
Yes.
Tempchlin.
Jack Tempchlin wrote Peaceful Easy Feeling. Danny Kuchmar, who we've had on the show, wrote many times with them together. And then everything that Henley did as a solo artist. He wrote on all those songs. So there was a lot of money that went around, but those albums sold like you wouldn't believe. But you'd think, wow, all that money and you can't cure this illness? You know what I mean? Like, you couldn't figure out what was wrong with the man's stomach?
An ulcer and pneumonia. It sounds like is what fucking did him in. And arthritis. It was a very weird combination of things when it was announced.
Calm down, first of all. Just calm yourself. And pneumonia could have come on because of fighting the other things, and then you're so weakened.
Yeah, your immune system gets
that the
knocked
pneumonia
out.
comes in and wipes you. And that's what happens with people with AIDS. They end up dying of pneumonia because they can't fight it off. At the end of the day, does it really matter? I don't know. I mean, Chuck Nice will probably go on the show later, talk about it.
Talk about Glenn.
Yeah. You want somebody to come in, do some kind of funny jokes, but be serious enough and know the subject? Chuck will do it for you. Chuck will be in new technology shows, what people are wearing this summer. You can count on him to come in and fucking deliver some lines and get out of there. And he looks good doing it.
He looked great.
Yeah.
His bow tie?
Oh, he looks great.
He's always dressed up nice. He's always got some lines ready to go. And he never steps on top of the fucking host or says something like, you know what? You run a pretty shitty show here. If we're going to be totally honest, I should be hosting this show because I know a lot more about it than you. Let's see what we got to plug today. Did we plug to see the panda? Just take two
we
steps
did.
back.
Yeah.
You'll see it.
Go read Black Girl's salute to his best friend, Glenn Frey.
An ode to the man, really.
I guess.
Much more than I had to say about him.
Well, Chris, would you like to say something sweet about your missing money?
Money? Sorry I threw you away so frivolously.
You understand this is why nobody wants to give you bonuses or a fucking raise, because it's just like throwing money away.
No, it isn't.
But it is.
It is. Any money that you would have, you're going to lose to your bookie, to your dealer, to your liquor store salesman, to a pimp.
God.
Joey also put this up. I believe it was you, Joey. Maybe it was Vito. Saying that AOL is going to change their name.
Yeah, they might change their name, yeah.
Bullshit.
To what? AOL? Like we used to say back in the 90s?
They can't change AOL. It's the brand, America Online.
Yeah, that's why they want to change it.
Yeah.
The brand doesn't work anymore.
What are they thinking? Something snappy? Like the way Google's like some sort of made up kind of like.
Yeah, they could go in that direction or just could call it, Young Founders.
Oh, it's good.
Oh.
I'm excited for screen names to come back.
Screen names, huh?
Well, a lot of people's emails are still screen names, right?
Yeah, they're handles.
I'm ready to hit some bitches up on AIM, see what's good.
You big
already
X.
have Tinder.
Tinder, Bumble, Facebook
No,
Messenger.
I want to hit girls up on AIM, get those little chats going on there, put away messages up with song lyrics.
I like that.
Yeah. X, big X, little X, Vito,
When
little X,
AIM
big X.
was actually only about 10 years ago, people still were using a lot of AIM.
I thought it would never go away, and then I started watching less and less people be on AIM and be on Facebook.
It was the biggest form of communication when I was in school. Like
I don't remember
we didn't
how
have
it's
text messaging.
But
okay?
I remember, I don't remember how it stopped. And because I was doing radio and your AIM was tied in with your fucking, your email name.
Yeah.
If I didn't have my AIM turned off, I'd get my fucking, frozen from listeners sending so many just ping, 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 ping. And you're just like, oh fuck, I forgot to turn the AIM on. Because sometimes you would just turn it on like you would do a tweet and say, hey, make sure you're listening tomorrow, dudes. You know?
Right.
But they could hit you and just knock you off the air.
I remember thinking it was Facebook. Facebook was what eventually just sucked everyone away from AIM, and then people just talk to each other on Facebook.
That's where I hit up all my friends.
FB?
See who's online there. Yeah. But I logged on to AIM like a year ago, and I saw one other person on there, and I was like, look at this fucking weirdo. What are they up to?
Why didn't you just try to aim them and just freak them out?
Hey, dude.
Hello, old friend.
Hey,
What are you doing tonight?
I've been waiting for you to respond to me now.
I like that they told you when people were typing, and then you get really frustrated when it stopped telling you they were typing.
Yeah.
Oh my
Text
God.
does that now, and then you don't get it. You're like, what did they panic out? There was something else that you sent in, I guess is going up later today. What do you think was your big story for later today?
This morning, my big story had to be...
Oh my God, he's just so slow. They don't even
Was
remember.
it DiCaprio want to be Putin?
That was a pretty big
who
one.
cares
I
about
sent
that?
in, well...
Let's start Palin.
Oh, you know what? The hockey fight. I was really into the hockey fight.
Well, the hockey fight was weird because a ref punched somebody, and then a coach jumped off and ran out and got involved in the hockey fight with the ref.
Full-on spear. Like a full-on, full sprint tackle spear.
But it's a good fight.
Jeez. Just people ruling?
Yeah. I've never in all these years, though, ever saw a ref punch somebody. All right, we got to get out of here. I'm going over to do Anthony's show today.
Very nice.
Yeah,
Tax?
Oh, yeah, I'm going to be on the tax.
You're going to take taxi to your tax?
Yeah, but not for that reason. You know, just because it's a nice mode of transportation. What am I on 39th Street there? 39th and like 9th?
Yeah, I have the exact address. I'll text it to you.
Don't.
Just send it to him on AIM.
Just put it on my Uber.
Done.
All right. That's it for us. Fun show being back today. We were off yesterday. We were all celebrating Martin Luther King Day. Today we weren't.
Not so much.
But any TV on tonight that I could see it? I don't know what I'm supposed to be watching now, but I got to catch up. I TiVo'd Colony to see if that's any good. It's another one of those sci-fis.
What's Colony?
Somebody has come in and taken over L.A. They're like overlords, and some of the humans are with them, and some are running against them. The guy from Lost is doing it.
J.J. Abrams?
No, I meant one of the actors. J.J. Abrams is too
He's
popular
busy.
to be doing
He's
this show.
above shitty television.
Yeah. What did you say?
The character is Sawyer from Lost, played by
you.
Josh.
You see
Oh
why
my
I
God.
found
Tomorrow?
her?
Okay.
Tomorrow, should we try it out?
What I always wanted to do was put Chris back there and put Vito in here where he can be young and hip and cool. You know?
I'm ready for anything you guys want to throw at me.
Chris,
I'm
you're
like
not even
the
sober
Mike
today,
Piazza.
dude, if I'm going to be totally honest.
That weekend was really tough.
Really? Because where's your wallet?
I don't have it.
Vito, where's your wallet?
In my pocket.
Thank you.
My left one.
Oh,
Don't
that's
have.
good. Look, there it is. You see, he's showing the wallet.
Yeah, I had to take Joe's badge today getting to work. Take Joe's. I'm
gonna
Joe.
need that back too.
I don't think you can get it back yet today, buddy.
Does it look like Joe just kept coming into the building?
Look at the log. Yeah, he's constantly in and out. Yeah.
So he came down, gave you his badge. You did it like he stayed on that side.
Yeah, and I said,
you act like he left and then came back.
Yeah, then...
See, that's the kind of shit that you guys could be written up.
Yeah, why can't you just put yourself into the system? You have the power.
Because I don't have my ID either. I lost my wallet. I don't have
my God, you don't belong in this building. And I am calling the overlords right now.
Had to cancel my debit card.
Oh, no.
Somebody could have ended up with $37. Motherfucker, cancel it. I got $37 in there right now.
He's going to overdraw.
I can't deal with the fees. No, there's no cash in the wallet.
That's it for us. We'll be doing a contest. Guess what rock star Obama kills next. Hopefully it won't be someone too close to us. That's it. See you guys tomorrow or again in 1974.
Ladies and gentlemen, the evening is over. We hope you all enjoyed yourselves, and we'll see you all again in 1974. Good evening!